Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are gonna have to get right into it today because we've missed last week and I feel like we have a lot to cover. We're gonna be going through the 6s through the 10s of the Minor Arcana in Kitchen Table Tarot by Melissa Cynova. And I have a few things to announce per usual. We're gonna go over our homework like that. I will just say before we get started, as people are filing in here, that I am good. I am good. I had a really difficult weekend last weekend, and then this weekend, consoling my friend and being there for her, and I kind of feel like I've been outside of my world and inside that world. So I'm really excited to be back today. Hi everybody who's coming on in. Come on, shuffle on in here. I hope everyone's doing well. I really haven't been this excited for a live stream in a long time. Just because I feel like I've been wanting to go over the rest of the Minor Arcana with you guys and kind of just get back to the groove of things. A live where I can actually do the reading and homework. Beautiful. Hi Sam. Hi everybody. You look pretty and well rested. Thank you. I am very well rested. Matter of fact, I posted a video last week about how to get up early today and my ass slept in, so very rested. Thank you for noticing. Hi from Germany. Hello everybody. Drinking some coffee. So first things first, I just wanted to mention that I am okay. I am doing perfectly fine. And my friend is doing better. Again, thank you so much for the candles that you lit. People were messaging me, telling me they were lighting white candles for her. And just sending so much love and positivity. And that was really sweet. So thank you so much. And so that's out of the way. I am good. I'm getting back to my regular scheduled programming here. So the next thing I want to announce is something that we've already announced. So I'm just kind of reminding you guys about, and we do have at least this week and next week and possibly one more week of live streaming for the Kitchen Table Tarot. And that is because this week we're going over the rest of the Minor Arcana, and then we are going over the court cards next. So that will be next week's live stream is the court cards. And then we have one final like wrap up live stream where we're hoping to get the author Melissa Cynova on for the live stream for a hangout Q&A. And that's when we're going to be announcing the winners of the giveaway. So if you haven't heard, there is a giveaway. Melissa has offered up a free phone reading to one person who wins the giveaway. And how you enter is in the comment section below of all of the live streams for this particular book. Now there's a few that we've done in there, like I announced that I had something going on with my eyeball, so we canceled that live stream, but there is a live stream of like an 8-minute one. But that, you know, it has to be like an actual live stream where we're talking about the book. And I can try and link all of those down below for you. There's the introduction so far. I think there's 3 or 4 up, and this would be included. So every comment section of the Witchy Book Club for Kitchen Table Tarot, there's a question. There's no right or wrong answer. And you just go in the comment section and you have to answer every single one of the questions. They're about tarot because that's what this book is based on. You know, how did you start reading, or what was your first deck, or if you're new to tarot, you know, those kinds of questions. There's no right or wrong answer. You have to fill out every single question, and at the end, I will write down everybody's name and I will pick one out of a bowl or a hat or something fancy, and that person will win. Now, after you've answered every single question, you can get 5 extra entries if you share one of the Witchy Book Club live streams on any other social media platform and tag me in it so I know. But you can't just share a live stream and not answer the questions and kind of cheat everybody else out of that. So I will be paying close attention to that. So I know, me too. I'm like sort of reading the comments. I'll go back. Sheldine says I'm making her nervous by like my coffee is very full. Also, My beautiful friend Heather gave me this mug. Isn't it so cute? It looks really good with my new witchy nails. Okay, so that's how you can enter the giveaway, and the announcement will be at the last live stream that we do with like a Q&A. Hopefully we can get Melissa on. If not, it'll just be a Q&A. Fun time to wrap things up and talk tarot with me. But you guys are probably sick of me. So with that said, we have picked our next book. I've already announced this as well, but I'm going to be reminding you guys, or for the people who haven't seen it yet, if you're not already a member of the Witchy Book Club Facebook group, I highly recommend that you go and check it out. If one of my moderators who are here could post a link so that people can go to it. No one else can post a link, I think, right now except for my moderators. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. You can enter. It's a closed group, but you just have to answer a few questions so I can make sure you're not a troll and we don't get any, rude people coming into the group. But it is so amazing. I think I made this Facebook group 2 weeks ago or something, and the amount of like community and closeness that we have already like bonded over in this Facebook group is so amazing. It's cool because for these live streams you see me and I'm talking to you and everybody else is trying to comment their things. Thank you so much, Angie. There is the link to the Facebook group. But it's hard to have a Facebook group and have just one person talking their opinions, and so this is really cool. People are going live in there and talking about their homework, and people are posting pictures of things, asking questions about tarot. It's just a really great community. I am very, very excited to have it be growing like it is. So please go in there, because a lot of the things like picking our next books and like that is going to be done through that Facebook group. So if you ever have suggestions for things or you want to be more incorporated into that process, go and join the Facebook group. But everybody in that group picked witchy fiction for our next genre, and I was very shocked about it. But this is our next book, and they also picked the book. I gave them 2 choices, and this is Uprooted by Naomi Novak. This is supposed to be a novella. Apparently there's another book, but it's not part of a series. It sounds like it's more of like part of that world, but she started a new book based on that. So this is not like we're starting a series and we're going to be going through it. I started reading Uprooted this weekend too. I think that a lot of people are really, really excited to get into this, and that is amazing. I do, however, want to finish out Kitchen Table Tarot and not rush into that. But I feel like in the past, I haven't given people enough time to get the book and read the book. So that's why we announced it and picked it so early. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to announce or talk about. Then we'll go to the homework and then we'll get right into it. Let me go. I'm still waiting for mine in the mail. Yeah, so that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to pick this earlier and get it out there so people had ample time to figure out if they wanted to get it, if they wanted to just listen along, or where to find it cheap, or maybe they can go to their library. I think, you guys, I'm pretty sure that if you're tight on a budget or you don't want to buy it, I'm pretty sure a lot of libraries will have this because it came out a few years ago and it was really, really, really popular. So there's a good chance that your library or something like that will have the book. I would look into it. All right. Let's see. Speaking of shitting on yourself, the book I'm reading called The Red Book said stop shitting all over yourself, and I was very offended. Oh my gosh. That's good. I've been doing. Okay. I just wanted to go back and make sure I didn't miss anything important. So, you guys, if I am itching at all in this live stream, please comment and yell at me. I, once again, have poison ivy, and I have poison ivy all over my arms. It is so incredibly itchy. And I made myself a little oil blend that I keep putting on, and it's really helping. Really, really helping. So, Sheldine, yes, Sheldine, go ahead. She just messaged me on Instagram. Yes, please. So this little oil blend is like my saving grace right now. We did some landscaping outside of my art gallery that I work at. Not my art gallery, the art gallery that I work at. George and I went and made some extra money. I did like major landscaping. And there was a point where we were cutting things down and putting it in the yard bags. And he turned to me and was like, "What's that red vine?" And I was like, "Yep, that's poison ivy." He's like, "Shit." I was like, "We've been gathering it up with our arms and like we didn't see it because it was intertwined in other branches and things." So I've just been waiting because I knew I was getting an outbreak. So I'm really trying not to let it spread. And if you guys see me at all like itching my arms while I'm talking, please yell at me because I do not want it to spread. Anyways, thank you. Let's talk about the homework. I did the homework really pretty much right after I announced it and right after we did our last live stream, which was 2 weeks ago. So I do need a bit of refreshment for myself. I did, however, do a live stream where I painted the sun card. Oh, let me show you the final product. And I talked about how the sun card was my card for September. And October's card is the Four of Cups. So this is the sun card that I drew and painted and then inked afterwards. I had so much fun doing it. You can watch the live stream. We ramble. It goes on for a long time, but I'm just casually working on this piece and put it in my book of shadows. I'm mentioning that because I'm not going to get too far into my homework and what I did because I did go into quite a bit of detail there. But our homework was to give ourselves a gift. And I don't know what you guys, I don't know. I sketched out the Four of Cups a while back. Awesome. Why do you keep getting it? Angie, I keep getting poison ivy because I'm touching it. Pretty much. But so the homework was to go through the aces through the fives, which were the cards that we went over for the last section of the kitchen table tarot. And it was to shuffle it up, pick at random, or go through card by card and to choose a card for yourself as a gift. And then there was a few questions to be answered. And a lot of people did their homework and posted in the Witchy Book Club. And it was so cool to see. So cool to see how you guys were doing it. I kind of figured a lot of people might end up picking aces because aces a lot of the times are known to be gifts or beginnings, or there's such the essence and basic energy of each of the elements that it's easy to kind of go wherever you need to with those. So if you guys did the homework, I always catch you at bedtime. I love to see you. Thanks for stopping by even for a second, and I hope you have sweet dreams, Katie. So if you guys did the homework, let me know what cards you picked, how you found it, like did you choose it at random, and what kind of things did you discover? I actually ended up picking the Four of Cups, which is a little bit of an interesting gift to give yourself, I feel. But part of the reason why I chose that is because the Four of Cups is my monthly card for October. It's October now. Happy October. So this month is the Four of Cups. And I have felt like I have been in that energy for the past week, even though it's not for October. I feel like there's no blending. When I do my year ahead spread, I don't think like the months are, this is October 1st, so now you're in the energy of the Four of Cups. You're no longer in the Sun card. I've been feeling the Four of Cups for a while now, and I have always felt like I needed to allow myself the space to be meh or bored or kind of depressive. I'm always going, I'm constantly going, and it would be a gift for myself to relax and not, more than the Four of Swords, just allow myself to be in a space of, I don't care. Like that would be a gift to give myself, and to go into this month with that energy as my card and realize like that this could be used as a gift and that there are positive traits about the energy. So Lindsay Seal says, I chose Five of Pentacles because life can be shit and I need to remember that I have support and my negativity only makes things worse. It's a reminder to me that there will be relief. That's awesome. Who else picked the Five of Cards? I think Sam Holloway picked the Five of Pentacles, if I believe right. She did from her live stream. Hi, Isadora. I hope that you're doing well today. We're going over our homework. Yeah, she did. So what else? Did anybody else do the homework? Or if you didn't do the homework, what gift could you give yourself, thinking off the top of your head, from the aces through the fives of the Minor Arcana? What kind of gifts could you give yourself, and why is that a gift for you? I'll give you some time to type your reply. Okay, so I don't need this anymore. Anybody? Anybody? Cricket? Cricket? Anybody do the homework? No? There was questions involved too. I think there was 3 questions. Oh, I just found it. Let's see. Where is the questions? You deserve a gift, don't you? Anybody? No? All right, I'll move on. We can just continue to do the homework in the Witchy Book Club Facebook group, if that's cool. That's cool with me too. Maybe my internet's lagging, because there's quite a few of you guys here, and I feel like if no one did the homework... Oh, I lost someone. Y'all are running and hiding. I just know it. Okay, anyways, I picked the 4 of Cups. That's my energy for this month, and I really would like to... I would really like to view it as a gift and allow myself the space to just kind of be meh if I want to be meh. Like, just kind of be in a space of I don't want to, and that's okay. Janae Deluxe says, I would say Ace of Wands because I need to light a fire under my ass on a lot of creative projects. There we go. Awesome. Thanks, Janae Deluxe. Okay, so let's get into it, right? Our reading section 2 weeks ago, because I've had ample time to read it, was the rest of the Minor Arcana, the 6s through the 10s. And I have, again, done what I did for the other live streams so far with this book. And I took my Rider-Waite Centennial deck and grabbed all of the cards that we're going to be going over so we can look at them. And then this week I picked out from the Tarot in Wonderland by Barbara Moore, the 6s through the 10s cards. So we will be looking at that. If I remember, I will put the link to the decks or mention the decks below. I don't think I did that for the other live stream, so I'll try and do that now. My left ear is ringing so high-pitched, I can't hear myself talk. Okay, it's done. All right, so we're going to start. We're on page 168 if you have the book, and we're going over the 6s. So, again, I have highlighted sections in the book that I'm going to be going over to save time. So as I'm reading this, I'm trying to make it sound cohesive, but I am breaking bits and pieces out of Melissa's writing just for the sake of this not being 5 hours like the Major Arcana was. And also know that whatever I talk about in my own connection to the cards, whatever we bring up in this book is the ground basis for the meaning of these cards. But there's hundreds and hundreds of ways that these cards can be interpreted, connected to, and read for yourself or for others. It depends on the reader. It depends on the reading. It depends on the questions being asked. It depends on what cards come up next to it. There is so many things that influence the cards in tarot, but just know that what we bring up and how we bring it up is going to be just like the groundwork or the ground meaning or the basic symbols and the basic keywords that are associated with each card. So use it and read it and blend it with your own life's experiences as needed. With that said, Melissa Cynova talks about the 6s as recognition. The 6s are all about recognition, whether being recognized for your successes, seeing your place in the world, folding yester you into the present you, or finding a new home. The 6s want you to be aware of where you are, what you have around you, and what you need to do next day, what you need to do next. They are present-oriented cards, which is kind of easier for me to remember because I feel like we have Ace through 10, and all up to from Ace through 5, it's very like build up energy, and when we get to the 6s, it kind of feels like here we're halfway through, we're in the present, we're in the now, this is what's happening. And That's just how I feel about it. So we're going to go over the 4 suits and the 4 cards associated with this number in the tarot. And the first is the 6 of Pentacles. So this is the 6 of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite Centennial. And Melissa says, this card is about generosity, both spiritual and financial. Can you give without judging? Can you take without feeling humiliated? Can you allow yourself to enter into the ebb and flow of community? If we take the money aspect away from the Pentacles, we can call this generosity of spirit, body, and mind. This can be listening to a friend, being a kind and caring lover, helping a child find their lost parent. When you give yourself, that's the 6 of Pentacles. Money is in there too, but money is just a tool. It's what you do with it that's important. So I have a really quick story that goes along with the 6 of Pentacles to me, and it was it was a good representation of how I kind of connected a little bit more with this card. So to me, this was one of those cards that seemed very, not surfacey, but like here, it's obviously like it's a give and take kind of card. And even though we're talking about, you can see the coins with Pentacles, this isn't just money. Like she said, when we take the money aspect out of it, it's body, mind, and spirit giving. This is resources. This is financial security, relationships, jobs. It's the physical. It's the physical. This is the earth element. I'm new to book club and still behind on homework because I've recently been spending a lot of time at the hospital. My grandpa has been in there for weeks and is not doing so well. Larissa, I'm so sorry. And take your time with it. If you have any questions or you need any support, we are all here for you. I'd appreciate some positive thoughts if you have any to spare. Doing my best to catch up on homework though, and really excited about it. That is so good. I'm so hoping that Witchy Book Club is giving you this little breath of excitement and kind of not escape, but a little bit of happiness within all the troubles that you're going through. So the 6 of Pentacles to me, I had this card last year for one of my monthly cards, and I remember feeling immediately when the month started as if I didn't have enough money. So I was a very like, hold on to money mindset. I was very like, how am I going to pay my bills? How did I get myself in this rut again? How did I not calculate this right? And so here is the card in the Wonderland and Tarot. So you can see they're all around like this small tea setting. So the table is very small and they're all holding, they look very uncomfortable, but they're also kind of like holding their food out, like they're maybe trying to serve other people coming in. So I was driving to work and I had packed a lunch and I had packed, you know, whatever I had. And then I had an extra little, no, sorry, let me go back. I hadn't packed lunch. I was driving to work and I saw a homeless person on the side of the road in an area where you wouldn't really see a homeless person. And I took the same drive to work every single day. And I'd never seen this person there before. And they were begging for money on the corner. And I was thinking like, oh, I want to give them money. I don't have any money. I only have like $2 in cash on me. And it's not enough. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to have enough money and all these things. And these thoughts started going in my head. And then I pulled away and I thought, shit, I know this is a test. I know within my heart, the way that my thoughts were going, the way that my mindset was going, that this is about a give and take. And even though I felt like I didn't have enough money, I was in a really nice car that I rent, that I work really hard. I had enough food and clothes for myself. Even though I was struggling and worried about money, this person could have used some help, whether money or not. And I said to my spirit guides, I said, give me another chance. I swear I can help. I know I made the wrong decision. I know that I can help this person somehow. Please, let this person be there again tomorrow. So I still didn't have money. It's not about the money aspect. And this is why I'm telling this story, is because the next day, this person was still there, and I had packed a lunch and I packed a big bag of grapes. And I rolled down my window and I had my $2 and I had the bag of grapes, and the guy came over to my window and I handed him the $2 and the grapes, and he literally didn't even look at the money. He grabbed the grapes and started like joyously thanking me, like from the heart, you guys. Like, oh my gosh, thank you. I haven't had grapes in so long, and I'm so hungry. Thank you. I can't wait. And I just like started crying, and I pulled away. I was like, you're so welcome. Like he had the money in his hand, but he didn't even look at it. He was so grateful for food and so grateful for something that was like grapes. And I went home later and I talked to my boyfriend George about it. He said, think about it. When people give him food, it's probably like McDonald's or something cheap that they think will fill his stomach. And that's what he's going to spend his money on if he has to give food. Use the money for food is something that's going to sustain him, or something that's not going to be like grapes that's, you know, expensive and, you know, not going to fill him up and stuff. So how long has it been since he had grapes or had something like that? And it just really goes to show that it doesn't have to be money, and what you give, you get back. Oh, also, like a few days later, I was gifted like a bonus kind of thing after that I didn't expect to come. So that's kind of the energy, or a cute little story to go along with the Six of Pentacles. And it doesn't have to be that cliche, but that was a big lesson for me to know, like, it's not about all the time and money, although a lot of the times it is. So let's go to the literal version of this. This can be a give and take of money, somebody helping you out financially, or you helping somebody else out financially, maybe paying a bill, maybe, you know, filling up their gas tank and it really helped them out, whatever that is, or a give and take of resources as far as relationships, jobs, homes, the physical aspects. So that is the Six of Pentacles. If anybody has any things that they want to connect with or stories they want to tell as we go through with the cards, or any questions, just post them in below. And if I don't go over them, hopefully my moderators can like do them again. But you guys seem to be pretty good with just letting me flow through this. So let's move on to the Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords, I had this card for my monthly card a couple months ago. Ooh, let me go up with the comments. Okay, that's it. So this is the Six of Swords. Oh, I want to make a little note and mention that in my live stream the other day, I showed the Six of Swords that I drew in my bullet journal when I had it for the month. I showed this and I realized I had wrote the Seven of Swords underneath it instead of the Six of Swords. Like, you can see I crossed it out. I just wrote the Seven of Swords and it was the Six of Swords. And then when I showed it in the live stream, I read, you know, the Seven of Swords underneath it. So I don't want you guys to be confused if you saw that, but this is the Six of Swords and I just wrote Seven of Swords on accident. So this was my little drawing and sketch that I did for this. The book helped me understand the Six of Swords so much better. That's always been one of the cards I struggle with in readings. Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's helpful to know because some people might struggle with certain cards more than others. I don't know. I don't think that this was one of the ones that I struggled with as much, but maybe it's not one that I connected with a whole bunch right away. But yeah, it's helpful to know that this book, because Melissa's writing is so easy. It's so, like, it's so understandable and relatable, and not textbooky, but the message and the meaning is still there. So this is the Six of Swords. And again, to refresh you guys, whenever we're dealing with the suit of the swords, we're talking communication and intellect and information and thoughts and words. And this is air. We're talking about the element of air. So the Six of Swords says water has an important role in this card. The passengers are ferrying themselves and their belongings across the river from rough water to smooth. They are determined to make a change in their lives and they are not going back. They have recognized what isn't working in their lives and have accepted it, and in accepting it have created the opportunity for change. Good for them. She's so cute. New opportunities and growth, and they just need to keep going. So you can see she's talking that there's like rough waters here. They're sailing towards smooth water over here. They look like they have shelter, or they've been through a lot, or either they're hiding, or either they're kind of traumatized and they're trying to kind of get it together. There's swords sticking in the boat. And this card is a little bit like, let me show you it in the Tarot of Wonderland. I feel like I can really relate to that card right now. Yes, yes, Sheldine, this is really, really what you're going through. So do you mind if I give you an example and kind of talk about you for a second, Sheldine? Do you mind? Because I kind of wanted to do that anyways, but I wanted to make it fit into this because, no? Sheldine, are you there? Sure. Okay. So Sheldine, you can see in the comments, Art by Feeling is a new friend that I've made. And if you want to check out her channel, it is so cool. We're actually going to be doing a collaboration live stream for artwork, like intuitive artwork, and we're really, really excited about it. And there's no date yet, but we are really excited about it. So Sheldine has a YouTube channel where she did for a few years tutorial artwork videos. So, you know, live streams where she showed her work and showed people how to, you know, use colored pencils or pastels and things like that. She's an incredible artist, but she had pretty good success, I would say, from doing this for years and years. And she's now becoming really more drawn to her spirituality, doing intuitive. She doesn't really want to use it as a teaching tool, but more as like a community where people can come together and talk about metaphysical things. She's actually doing a book club herself right now, and they're going over the Moonology book, or they just finished the Moonology book, I should say. And for her, she's made a switch. So it really isn't as much coming from rough waters from her channel being an art tutorial, but she's decided to make the switch, and she has unfortunately lost a lot of clients and a lot of, you know, subscribers and stuff from this change because people are so used to it being what the content is, but it doesn't resonate with her anymore. And she really wants it to be something that's fulfilling to her. So it seems really hard to put aside or to leave behind her all of this hard work and all of these things that she's done. But in the end, it's going to be worth it because she's going to be more fulfilled. She's going to draw people to her that she wants. You guys know the drill, you know the thing. And also, I really feel like you would love what she's got going on. So, yeah, it's rough waters, and it's really hard because she's probably going to doubt herself. She's probably, you know, she's losing people. But in the end, it's going to bring towards her, as long as she can just keep going, she's going to draw to her what she wants and manifest what she is looking for. So that's sort of really, but this card is, you know, it is definitely emotions as well. Even though we're dealing with swords and air, it's all water, you know, all water. We connected at an important time, I think. I agree. Oh, also, you guys, she looks, like, we look very similar. She's got darker hair than me, but if you want to go check her out, it was weird. We video chatted together for like hours on I don't know what night it was. But I had my glasses on, and then she put her glasses on, and it was weird for us to be putting ourselves next to each other. So let's move on. I'm really, really grateful for my new friendship with her, but that does definitely connect to what I feel like you're going through. Okay, so the Six of Wands. In this card, you will see that the guy is above all others. Literally, he's got 2 laurel wreaths, and his horse is all decked out. He's sitting so straight and tall. This reminds me of Veterans Day Parade. Our heroes are being honored for their service and appreciated for their hard work and sacrifice. This card is optimism, hope, and excitement. This isn't always such a noble card, but it has that element of, look what I've done. See my accomplishments. Self-confidence, a little bit of swagger, and a whole lot of pride. This card is similar to the Chariot, but instead of a private version of you're the best, this is a very public. I just wanted to note too, just before we keep going, that there is reversal sections or inverted sections in this book, but for the sake of time, I'm not going over them unless I feel like it will really help towards a card that might need a little bit more information for it. So it is in here. I have read it. I did highlight it. I can access if I need to, if you guys have questions on what that is, but just for the sake of time, I'm not going over that section. So this is the Six of Wands in the Rider-Waite Centennial. Feel free to comment and say what you need to. Just got back from a doctor appointment. So happy I'm not too late. You are not. We have only gone over, this is our 3rd card. So the Six of Wands, yeah, you can see he's up on top of his horse. Let's take a look, though. It's interesting what this looks like in the Wonderland Tarot, or the Tarot Tarot Wonderland, Tarot and Wonderland, or Wonderland and Tarot. So this is Barbara Moore's version here, or I think the artist is Eugene Smith, and you can see you have the White Knight here, or not the White Knight. We have, look, all the crew behind, like, here's my squad, and don't mess with us, like, because I'm in charge, and look at me, look what I have, look behind me. But I liked what she said about Veterans Day and how we're celebrating people for what they've done, but it's sometimes can be like a showy thing, if that makes sense. The art is epic in that deck. Yeah, this is really, really cool, and I love Alice in Wonderland. So I don't know if I have any real stories or anything to connect to this card, so if anybody has anything they want to share. This card is just about celebrating somebody, a parade. I mean, it looks like they're in a parade and all these people are around here. What'd she say at the end? Yeah. You're doing the best. This is very public. There was a keyword I really liked in here. Self-confidence, a little bit of swagger, and a whole lot of pride. Look what I've done. See my accomplishments. It's like finishing a task maybe at work and having your boss and maybe your coworkers really praise you for the good job that you've done on that task. Yeah, this is just praise and accomplishments, and I don't have any cool story to set with it. So if you guys have questions or anything to go with it, then let me know. But I'm going to move on. I think I'm going to go back again. I think that this interpretation is really unique because it kind of can pull into maybe a little bit of like mob mentality. And that would be interesting to talk about in how, or if you've ever seen like in movies where the king comes back from war and they're like riding back with all their people that have made it. And I guess that would be sort of along the same lines as like Veterans Day and stuff like that. But they're gathering around to say like, welcome home, welcome back, you did it, or you made it back alive. But maybe they lost the war. Maybe they didn't win the war, but they came back anyways. And so it could be kind of like a sorry, I have to leave. I got to go to work now. That's okay, Jackie. Hi, bye. This might not have been like you won the war, but it could be you made it back alive kind of thing. Like it could be a good job, but you didn't do it all the way. Let's see what the reversal says. Stuck. It's exhausting and a waste of time. Move on. That's what I highlighted from this. The thing that keeps us from moving into the future is usually baggage we're dragging around from the past. Oh, wait, no. I'm reading the Six of Swords. I was like, that doesn't feel right. Sometimes people who become so full of themselves, that is all that they can think or talk about. Lack of confidence that's expressed is either diffidence, or arrogance. Let me read that again. This card reverse speaks of lack of confidence that is expressed in either diffidence or arrogance. Yeah, so if this was in a challenging aspect, this could be like, hey, I did this little task. Everybody come and look how good I look. Everybody come and see what I've done. And everyone's like, great, that was the basic of what you were supposed to get done. And we're not going to give you a gold star for it kind of thing. Great night, Sky. Hi, how are you? I hope that you're doing good. We're moving through the sixes still, and we're on to now the Six of Cups. If nobody has any other thing to say about the Six of Wands. So we have the Six of Cups here now. This is the Rider-Waite Centennial. I adore the Six of Cups. I even put a little heart by it in the book. So let's see where I highlighted. There's quite a bit of writing for this one. Melissa talks a bit about, that I didn't highlight just to summarize. She talks a little bit about like kids and magic and how they see things and the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus and imagination and that playful like idea around believing in things and better late than never. You're not too late. Welcome to everybody who's just coming in. The Six of Cups was another card I always struggled with. I was always like, oh, you're nostalgic and feeling childlike, I guess. The explanation helped a lot. Yeah, I can see that for sure. Like, how are you supposed to give guidance, or how are you supposed to connect on a card like this. This one I feel really connected to because I have a lot of these really weird, I connect a lot to this card with these weird memories that come up from the past that I feel like are nudges or hints from spirit. So I'll just be doing something random, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to this. I might be doing something random, and then all of a sudden I'll have this weird memory of like my 4th birthday party and the outfit I was wearing and what color it was and how I felt a different, like how the wrapping paper felt when I was opening up the specific gift. And that's a lot of the emotional connection to memories and magic and the past for me, nostalgia. So this is what I highlighted out of the kitchen table tarot. And so the 6 of Cups, I think that is silliness, joy, radiating happiness, and nostalgia live here. Drinking out of the garden hose, leaving out cookies and milk, lifting your feet when you drive over the railroad tracks so you don't lose your love. All of these things are defense against the seemingly unending barrage of things that might bruise your soul. It's about embracing the joy of being a child, even as a 38-year-old or a 68-year-old. It's about holding tight to the magic because that is the counterbalance to all the other things that are so terribly serious and heavy. And honestly, couldn't we all do with some more magic and joy in our lives? I connect a lot to this card with being a theater major when I first went to college and before I switched to art. Because this is very, like, when you're a theater major, you have to do a lot of things that require you to kind of get in a space of emotional presence of like past energies or past emotions or memories, or it's like playing pretend. You're playing pretend for a job. Like that's what you're doing. And for me, I always felt like the 6 of Cups represented when my brother and I would be like, let's play house, let's play pretend. Like I'm the dog and you're the next door neighbor or whatever that was. And this feeling of like, or if you have children, when the children are like, you know, tell me a story and you're making up this fairy tale or you're making up this story, it's about using that. Intuition comes into a lot here as well because of the water aspect, and the emotion, and the cups is definitely intuitive card. Here's what it looks like in not my favorite interpretation of this energy, but we have, you know, this card back here. But what I do like in the background is there's this little like purple elephant with wings. It almost feels like they could be playing house and playing pretend, and that this is like some imaginative thing in the background or a memory of a dream that they had. This also comes up a lot with some subconscious for me with dreams. Sometimes I'll have dreams and I write them down, and then years later I'll get a flash to a dream that I had. To me, that's a lot of how I connect to this card, is like that subconscious make-believe, being able to have a space of play pretend. So with kids and children, like, what do you, like, I got your nose, and them actually believing that you took their nose. Do you know what I'm saying? Everybody? Are we good here? Are we good? Do we have any questions about that? Again, these cards can be interpreted and used, but it's playful, it's joyful, it's imaginative, it's nostalgia, memories, but I do feel like there is this very naive or very like almost like fool energy when it comes to the 6 of Cups to me, or going back and feeling what those feelings and experiences from when you were in the fool energy. That's kind of where I go with it. Hi from Denmark. And then Sam says Emily was a theater major and art minor. That's awesome. We need to meet. We all need to get together. Okay, so those were the 6s, and we're moving on now to the 7s. I want to make sure I'm getting through here. So the 7s, and we're on page 178 if you're going along in the book still. The 7s are about conflict. That is the key word that Melissa has, and the 7s are they are difficult. They're not the easiest, but here's what she says. It says, it ranges from conflicting ideals and morals to fighting or frustration. The 7s are not easy cards, especially if you're impatient. Each of these sevens says that you don't get what you want just yet. Doesn't matter how long you've wanted it, and it doesn't matter how close it appears to be. What matters is why you want it and how hard you will work for it. And I just saw a comment. Let me just see. I'm so sorry. You probably already said it, but I'm at work and switching screens back and forth. What is the deck that you're using? Not the Rider-Waite-Smith. So yeah, I did already say it, but that's okay. This is the this is Barbara Moore's, and the artist is Eugene Smith, I believe. And this is the Tarot in Wonderland, or the Wonderland Tarot. Tarot in Wonderland, or Wonderland and Tarot. I can't remember. Let's see. Wonderland and Tarot. Although I think that the guidebook, here's the guidebook. It's huge. I believe that the guidebook says Wonderland and Tarot, but I'm pretty sure the outside of the box is the opposite. So that's why I can't remember exactly what it's called. I will try and leave a link once this posts after it's live. Back in focus. Okay. So we are talking about conflict or waiting, or so whereas the sixes were present, it's almost like the sevens wants to make a move, but we're getting more information, or we're still having experiences that feels like we're about to go, but it's like there's something we have to get through, and that's the sevens first. And so let's start with the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles. So Melissa says, this card is about hard work and waiting for that work to become something tangible. Guys, this is like, I hate this card. I would say I'm a pretty patient person, but when it comes to the Seven of Pentacles, I'm just like, right already, come on, let's see it. But this card, it wrapped up in one sentence, is like, good things come to those who wait, kind of thing. So she says, this card is about hard work and waiting for that work to become something tangible. It's exhausting and annoying for those who are impatient. It's fulfilling and enchanting for those who can pace themselves. Do you guys think I'm someone that can pace myself? I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So you can see in this card that it is somebody looking at their garden. Their crops are these pentacles. He's like looking down, kind of like, oh man, like, is it time to harvest yet? Or maybe that's not growing as well as he'd like, but it looks abundant. It looks like it's ready. He's just waiting. He's waiting. He's waiting. He's waiting. Hello, good morning. And a lot of the times when we get the energy of the pentacles, it can go one of two ways, because it is, I feel, the most slow moving energy. If we're talking about it in breaking it down in the elementals, like, this is a slow moving, patient, grounded, steady. And this could be good in the sense of slow moving, whereas like, let's take our time. Let's really build on a good foundation. Let's make sure our soil is rich. Let's make sure our crops are getting enough nutrients and enough water and enough sunlight. Let's really care and tend to it. Let's really make sure that we're doing it right and we're planning it out and we're taking our time. But on the other end, a lot of the times with that being a challenging aspect is, you know, we might need a little fire energy, or we might need to like kind of get the ball rolling, or make quicker decisions, or not wait so long, or not spend so much time on this and kind of let it do its natural course. But for the most part, and here it is in the Wonderland Tarot, and I really like this depiction. Now, in this deck, they do have quite a few cards that deal with this one particular scene, which wasn't my favorite, but this card for this scene is really great. So in the Alice in Wonderland story, the cards planted white roses instead of red roses. And the Queen of Hearts is going to be extremely mad that they're not red, that they're white. So a few of the cards come in and they are painting the roses red to fool the Queen. Now, this is kind of to me about like hard work, making sure that like if something doesn't go right, maybe you didn't weed enough and now your one side of your plant is struggling. Think about this in a real life terms as far as like resources go, or money, or relationships, or housing, or anything like that. Sometimes it's good for us to make quick decisions on things, but sometimes it's good to build a good foundation in friendship before you get into a long-term relationship. So it's about being patient, even though you just want to rip into somebody and just see their soul and be with them. But it's about kind of like spending that time to lay a good foundation and knowing that in the end it'll be worth it. Hi Asha, I hope that you're doing really well. It's okay that you're late. It's like you guys are always apologizing for showing up late. I'm doing nothing. I would love to have you here earlier, but I understand if you can't. And bye Sheldon. I hope that we can talk soon. You're on the other side of the world, so we're on opposite schedules, girl. We will get together and we will announce when her and I are doing this live stream, and it's going to be so cool. I'm so excited about it. I don't want to, she's falling asleep and she doesn't want to drop the phone on her face. I agree that it's a slow card, but to me, it's like taking your time on things and going slow is good to have things grow right. Exactly. Just like what I was saying about like the relationships. Sometimes you feel like you just want to jump into something if my wording is so bad. No, I got you. I got you. Or, you know, again, if you think about it in literal terms of what the card is showing, you know, if you, so I had these plants that I had and they were out on my front porch, and I wanted to pick some of the blooms, and I really wanted to make sure that it was good and make it pretty and all these things. But I spent extra time to go back and to cut a bunch of the stems off and a bunch of the flowers off. Even though it was blooming really well, I knew that the plant couldn't breathe, and I wanted to give it an extra week to really come into its full bloom. And so I weeded a bunch of it out, and I really cut back a ton on it. And me being patient and me giving that much more care and spending time on it, they ended up blooming for months longer than they probably would have because they were choking themselves out. And even though it was hard for me to do that, I sat and I was more patient, and it came into more full of a bloom. Does that make sense? Thanks so much. Have a magical day, and the rest of you too. Bye. Anybody have any questions or stories or things they want to talk about? Oh, well, if we want to get into the financial side of this too, just really quickly, it's like, just think about like saving for something, you know, or maybe saving for something you don't know what you're saving for. It's that energy of like every week I'm taking, you know, X amount of dollars out of my paycheck, or like every time I spend money, I throw the change in a change bucket. And it's like I'm waiting for it to hit for that amount so that I can buy myself this thing, or I can go on this trip, or that I can do this X, Y, and Z. And it's like that process and that waiting and like being patient and not taking out of that fund to spend on something else before it's come to full bloom. It's about setting your goals and kind of working and waiting to get there. All right, I think we've got it. We're going to move on now to the Seven of Swords. This nasty little bugger. Ooh, I want to rant and rave right now with the connections in my life where this card is coming across. So let me just make sure, because there we go. I'm missing comments. A good analogy. It makes sense to me. I know that not saving struggle. I spend so quickly and regret what I buy after. Ooh, you got the regret bug. Yeah, we've all done it. But buying with regret is the difficult energy to go forth with. And I do it too. So I'll just leave it at that. No lecture needed. I think you know. So the Seven of Swords. Look at how much yellow is in this card. Look at how much, like, to me, this connects a whole ton to the solar plexus chakra, the colors of yellow with our gut feelings and pride and a lot of energy. So this with the swords, again, remember we're talking about the air element. We're talking about intellect, thoughts, words, actions that pertain to knowledge, things like that. So the Seven of Swords, and she's using a deck. This is what the card looks in here. So when I read this, if it doesn't make sense, that's why. Oh, such a big liar. Honestly, if you look at the card, the guy is sneaking away with something that clearly doesn't belong to him. It could be someone stealing back something from the person that took it from them, but how often does that happen? I don't think that all lies are bad. There are some lies that we tell to protect ourselves or others. These aren't bad lies inherently. I think that the lies that start to corrode us are the ones we use to protect ourselves from ourselves. Makes sense, right? So this guy is sneaking off with the swords with a big shit-eating grin on his face. But what's this? Back in the corner of the cards in the most basic decks, there is a group of men with swords and spears cresting the hill. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it way back here. My pointy nails. See, it's way back here. The action of stealing is so completely brazen in this card. Seems like he's going to get busted in just a few minutes. What's done in the dark will come to the light, and even if it doesn't happen right away, the truth will come out. Woo! I want to rant and rave right now, but that's good. Even if no one else saw his lie, he knows. His soul is going to get a pretty good ding on it. I think that we lie to protect ourselves from ourselves when we don't want to, have hard conversations, breaking up, when we are afraid to fail, never leaving this awful job, and when we are certain we can do what we want with other people and remain untouched, cheating. We don't want to have these hard conversations because it's easier to buy the bullshit that we're serving up. Oh. I want you all to take a look at your lives. And here comes the Mother Hen Sam. And here's what it looks like in the, just put this down. This is what it looks like in the Wonderland and Tarot. So I want you guys to take a look at the people in your lives and also in your own life, how you communicate with others. What white lies do you tell people to save them from hurt or save them from anxiety when really you're kind of putting it back on yourself? This is a hard card. This can talk of literal stealing. This can talk of actual possessions or things being stolen. This could be talking about plagiarism or copyright infringement because we're talking about words and we're talking about knowledge and communication. So all of the cards can be taken very, very literal, but this also is about lying to those, again, to save them from something. It's like that, how do I look in this dress? Like, oh, you look great. Like, totally. When you know that's not a really great dress for their figure, but you don't want to hurt their feelings because, you know, you care about them. I just want you guys to take a look and not get paranoid and nothing like that, but this could come up depending on what and how this falls. You know, there's other cards in here about paranoia or something, but this could be that gut feeling or those thoughts in the back of your mind that, you know, like, hey, there was a few red flags in this certain situation, either with my job or maybe my real estate agent or, you know, the doctor or the vet or whatever this is. That could be, you know, those gut feelings where you know that people are either lying to you or that there's more information that they're withholding. To me, this is a pretty big card because little white lies or little things can really build up and snowball if we're not honest with ourselves. And there is something to, you know, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all. But there's a fine line between holding back our thoughts and opinions to not hurt others and, you know, basically lying. Somebody did comment something. I never thought of that yellow background. That kind of changes the view. It's like doing something wrong that you know is wrong in plain sight. Like recklessly stupid. Or, I love that. Or if you think about it in this like yellow, prideful, coming from the sun, like almost as if this person could be like, no, I'm Robin Hood. I'm stealing from the rich and giving to the needy. You know, stealing is stealing. It doesn't matter who you're doing it from. And whether you think that you're in the right or whether you think that you're saying these things or divulging these secrets that someone gave you or told you, or, you know, it's about thinking that you're above too. If this is coming in your position, you might be doing something that you feel is just or that you feel is right because you might be trying to save or help another person when really you're just hurting another one. There's so many webs and entanglements and ways that this one can come, like so many. Like this yellow to me always comes across as like, I feel like I'm doing right. And even if I know that I'm not, in the back of my mind, I'm going to convince myself that it's just somehow. Yeah. Anyways. Ooh, I want to go about that card right now. But anyways, let's move on. I might make a ramble video about the Seven of Swords or about honesty, because I got some things to say. Again, I'm fine. Like, it's just, I have a lot of information that I want to talk about with that. So let's see, where are we at here? We're with now the Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands, let's take a look. Let's let it focus for a second. Big difference here, right? Like, similar in how the cards are depicted from the Seven of Swords to the Seven of Wands, but big difference in the stance and the body language. So if you're really new and you're really new to reading, this is your first time, you're really trying to learn, looking at these two cards is let's break this down just really quickly. Like, take a look at the cards, take a look at the colors. So if you can't remember the meaning and you're really trying and you don't want to access the guidebook, which don't be afraid of the guidebooks, but let's just take a look at the difference. What do you first see in these cards that are very similar? They're the same numbers, but they have different things. There's one person visible that you can see, but there's clearly some other people involved. This person's looking back over their shoulder, like trying to cover their tracks or make sure no one's following them. They look like they're sneaking away. This is a bright yellow card. Bright yellow card. It's in the middle of the day. This is clear skies, but this person is clearly has a powerful stance that's rooted into the ground. They're trying to secure themselves. They're trying to make sure that they have a good footing, and they look like they're being attacked or attacking, or something's happening here with these sticks below. What's happening here? So just break down the card and you can talk about how it feels or what it looks like, and what you get from it. And then we have this bright blue, pretty clear day. Because these cards look really similar, but they're very different if you break down the small little details of them. So Seven of Wands. Let's read what Melissa says about the Seven of Wands. It's about taking a stand, drawing a line in the sand, standing on your own 2 feet. I have a lot highlighted from here, so let's get into it. Choosing a metaphor. Let me read that again. I loved that. I loved that. Melissa is so witty. The Seven of Wands is about taking a stand, drawing a line in the sand, standing on your own 2 feet, choosing a metaphor. The man is at the top of a hill, so he's worked hard to get there. All of those attacking him are beneath him. It's unclear whether they're trying to knock him down or they're just being a pain in the ass. If you look at the bottom left corner of the basic card, it looks like he's right next to the edge of a drop-off. This card comes up for a few different reasons. Tenacity is always present, but in different ways. The softest meaning is that you're literally working your way to the top. Next, you're having to defend your goal or your path. Someone is questioning you or doubting you, and they don't care whether you fail. In fact, they might be invested in seeing you fail. The challenge is now coming from outside rather than within. This change in motivation might affect how you carry yourself. Now it gets interesting. This isn't just a challenge to your ideals. This is someone actively interfering with your life. It's rarely as straightforward as someone getting in your way. It's usually sneaky or annoying, but the other person's goal is to knock you off track. Here's where it gets serious. Again, cards change their meaning slightly depending on the question, position of the card, etc. Wands especially don't really have a stock answer. And the reason I feel like that is because it's about action and movement and passion, and there's so much energy in here that it really goes so many different ways. The serious meaning of this card is that someone is threatening you or loved ones. I think that people forget that we have a fierce nature. You may not is a sentence that I don't hear enough. You may not treat me like this. You may not bring that negativity into my life. You may not touch me. That's a no. This card is not only about being brave and deciding how far is too far, but also about deciding what kind of life you want to have. Do you want to allow toxic people into your space? Do you want to permit people to treat you like garbage? Sometimes it's worth ruffled feathers to say no. So I'm going to tell a story, and we're not going to get too deep, but it is kind of a deep conversation. Like it's a deep topic, but I'm going to say it and we're going to move on. So, again, there's so many different things that this could come up with what I just read. This is what it looks like. It's a different angle. I really like the way that this one's drawn. So but the difference is that people are coming down people are coming down on her and not that she is above. So that is a different perspective there that we're used to with this card, but I just like the viewpoint in which this card pulls to. And when it comes to like the little sentence, you cannot touch me, do not touch me. I was at a friend's house, and there was a lot of people around. We were invited over there, and there's a specific person that was getting like really touchy-feely with me, and I noticed it the last time we were over, but I kind of pushed it off, like maybe they don't realize, or maybe like I was just kind of trying to sense what was going on and where they were at with things. And when we went back last time, it seemed like this person was going out of their way to brush up against me or to kind of like pat me on the back or something like that, and it was making me uncomfortable. And finally at one point, and George was there, my boyfriend was there, and also his wife and child was there. And at one point, people were getting rowdy. We were playing this really like physical game, like things were happening. It was really fun. And he just reached out and like slapped my ass really hard. And I whipped around and I was like, absolutely not. You do not do that. You do not touch me. You do not do that to me. And this person kind of just like played it off and, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, oh, whatever. There's a lot right now consciously within the media and within the energy of that sort of mentality of people sticking up for themselves or saying things like, no, you may not. And even though that might just be such a small little, it's not a big deal, he brushed it off, he didn't touch me anymore, or anything like that. That happens so often. I do feel like this energy is coming out to play much more in the recent times. And not just women or not just this specific situation, in many things, in having the action and the aggression or the fire to stand up for yourself, whether in a job, whether in a relationship, whether in, again, let's bring in maybe like negotiating a deal with a house or a car or whatever, not letting people walk all over you, or having the balls to say like, no, this is what I need and this is what I want and this is how it's going to go, or let's, you're not going to walk all over me. That's one of the ways that I've connected recently to that card. And I think it's important to evaluate our worth and how we can stand up for these people, or make it through them trying to push us off a ledge or kind of take advantage of us. So anyways, now we're going on to the 7 of Cups. Unless anybody wants to comment or say anything, I know that has been the comment section. I have quite a few of you here. The comment section is pretty quiet. The 7 of Cups, I really like this card. I feel like a lot of people struggle with this card because it's kind of overwhelming in the imagery. It's like, where do I pull from? What is happening here? Is this a daydream? Is this a real dream? Is this person manifesting? What even is in these cups? What am I supposed to tell somebody from this? And I know that this was one of the cards that I struggled with, so maybe that's why I'm saying that. And I kind of got the meaning, but it was a little overwhelming, and that's kind of what we're dealing with here. Remember, the cups is about intuition, it's about feelings, it's about emotion, it's about love, on a very basic level, and then it can get intense depending on what energies are surrounding it. So, 7 of Cups, Melissa says, sometimes our fantasies feel safer than reality. A less lazy perspective is that visualization leads directly to manifestation. The trick is to step out of the wistfulness and take action before you lose the impetus to try. It's easier to wish than try, but it's trying that makes things happen. Let's see if I highlighted anything else. Yeah, one more sentence. It says, maybe we lie, pretend, or scheme to get what we want. Yikes. Oh no, that's the inverted. Sorry, guys. So let me read this one more time for myself because I'm stumbling here. Sometimes our fantasies feel safer than reality. A less lazy perspective is that visualization leads directly to manifestation. The trick is to step out of the wistfulness and take action before you lose the impetus to try. It's easier to wish than try, but it's trying that makes things happen. So this card has a lot of the energies of like, oh, I wish that my life, you know, I wish I had more money, or I wish I could go on this vacation, or I wish that I'm daydreaming about this love relationship, or I'm daydreaming about the future, or I'm daydreaming about how it was in the past, and kind of a lot. It could be a lot. So that's why there's so many different things here that we're overwhelmed with. And this kind of brings me to actually part of a reading that Melissa gave me, tying into kind of like, you can have all these dreams and wishes, but setting aside clear goals and minimizing things and picking a door. Because sometimes when you just wish for so many things, or you have so many goals and you're trying to manifest so many things, the universe doesn't know how to take that energy. The universe doesn't know how to give that to you if you don't have a concrete thing. And so in this card, you see there's like a wardrobe, and she has all of these doors that she could open, and she's kind of standing like, I have all of these options. I'm so dreamy. I'm so goal oriented. I want so many things for myself. But unless she turns around and actually opens one of those doors and kind of pulls out or goes inside or uses what it is that she's dreaming and wanting, chances are nothing's going to happen. So there is that kind of like, there could be this standstill energy here. I definitely get that overwhelming feeling, like so many things coming at you at once. Yeah, or this could be walking up on this wardrobe and all of these doors opening at once, and you having to sit back and decide like, whoa, okay, I have all these opportunities, you know, all these things are happening, and all these, what do I want? What do I really want? And how am I going to pick, or how am I going to make all these work if you want to try and make all these work? It's about dreams. It's about wishes and goals. It's about fantasies. It could be still, because we are dealing with emotions and subconscious and wants and needs kind of in an emotional sense. I really like this. This makes it a little more, I think this illustration makes this card a little bit more relatable to me. But I always felt like the Rider-Waite was like, you know, that scene in The Matrix, if you've ever seen The Matrix, throwback, right? Where he's standing in the white, I haven't seen this movie in so long, so I can't say the words. He's in the Matrix, and it's white, it's pure white, and he's like, I need guns or something, and he just like rows and rows of guns. It's about manifesting and saying and knowing what you want and being able to create it and get it. But you have to want it, and you have to visualize it, and you have to have a clear depiction of what it is. Like, I just feel like this card always reminded me of that scene. Or even in, what's that movie, Bruce Almighty, where he's God and he like can get and do whatever he wants. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Anybody? I feel like, okay, I'll just keep going. I'll keep going. You guys can just listen and have me on in playback if you're doing your laundry, doing your dishes, going about your day. You have me on a sneaky little tab at work, and you're just listening to me ramble through the cards. Larissa says, I really struggle with not trying to do everything at once and being impatient about wanting everything, but rather picking out a clear path where I can focus on one thing after the next. So yeah, you are like, that energy definitely comes across for the Seven of Cups a lot of the times. There is, for me, there isn't as much movement in this card, and it's not about doing too much as more as there is a need to focus or get clear on what it is that you want. So it's okay to have many goals and many wishes and many daydreams and many options, many cups in front of you with many things. But it's more so about getting clear, getting clear about how and what you want. So it's like, I'm trying to manifest, I'm trying to manifest riches and jewels. Like, there's like these jewels and looks like coins or money or things overflowing in this cup. So it's kind of about like, let's say we're focusing on this cup, like, yeah, I really could use a lot more money, or yeah, I'm looking for a raise, or yeah, I'm dreaming about this bonus, or I'm really looking for my business and my career to take off. But that's not enough sometimes, and especially when we're spreading ourselves thin, it's what she's talking about is it's not enough to just want it. You have to go and do something. So make the work, get specific about what it is that you're trying to create, and give the universe a little bit more of a pathway to give that to you. Let's keep going. let's keep going. I think you guys are commenting things though. It's like the shadow guy in the Rider-Waite is staring at his vision board, trying to pick the priority. Oh, I love that. Yeah, this is like a vision board. So yeah, this is definitely like I love that. Definitely. This is definitely like, let's sit down, let's cut up a bunch of magazines, and anything I want, let me put it down there. But sometimes that works because you're putting that little intention, you're putting that open, and the universe goes, oh, wait, I didn't know you really wanted a new car. Let me see what I can do for you. But like being more specific, so maybe writing underneath those pictures in the on the vision board, like, I want my own car and I want it to be paid off. Like having that more of a concrete instead of just daydreaming, like, yeah, it'd be so nice for me to have this model's body and this, you know, this healthy lifestyle and all these things, you know, let's, you know, focusing on one is definitely easier said than done sometimes. As my mom says, doing isn't done. Yeah, for sure. And I agree with that as I sip my cold coffee. All right, we're into the 8s now. If you feel like I'm going through these too fast or lingering too much, I'm doing the best that I can. There's so much that you could talk about or pull from the cards. And some are easier to go in than others, just because, you know, how we associate or how I can explain them to you. Again, keep in mind, if you're coming in late to this and you're new to tarot, or even if you're not new to tarot, this is just the groundwork. This is just the basis, a starting point for the meanings or the associations or the symbols in the cards. They can be interpreted in hundreds and hundreds of ways, depending on what kind of reader you are, what kind of reading you're doing, how many positions there are, what the card lays in, what other cards come up next to it. There's so many things, and that's what the beauty and the fun is, I think, of reading and having tarot in your life. But we're just going through kitchen table tarot and some of the keywords and explanations that Melissa Cynova has broken down for us, and kind of talking about it. I feel like most of the time as we work on one priority and get going on that, the rest will come more naturally once you're in the flow of manifesting. Yeah, that's a good way to explain it as well. Yeah, and this really, to me, isn't so much as movement. This isn't even like working. This is planning and like dreaming and like realizing what you want. And then it's going from there to get it done. So now we're moving into the 8s, and the 8s are hope. So well, let me read about, we're not there yet. Slow your roll, Sam. 8s are hope. The Pentacles are talking about hard work and investing in yourself for a better future. And the Wands are similar, telling you to choose the best path and pour yourself into it. The Cups and Swords are fairly bleak though. While the Pentacles and Wands are in the midst of hope and determination, the other two are occurring in the moment before the hope kicks in. So we're dealing with hope here, but some of the cards are like, you can see the hope, and the other ones are like right before the hope happens. Heather says, sorry, I'm way late. I had a hall pass, I swear. Please no detention. I promise I'll rewatch this live stream. Heather, you do you, girl. You're so funny. Yeah, you're good. Your hall pass checks out. So we're on the 8s, and we're starting with the 8 of Pentacles. So here is the 8 of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite Centennial deck. So you can see he is sitting on a bench. He's got a pentacle or a coin or shield or however you want to see it on the workbench, and he's diligently looking and invested in working on whatever this is. And he's got all these other lined up hanging on the tree next to him. And he's got one on the floor ready, waiting. Like, in my mind, this is like what he's going to work on next. So this is what Melissa says about the 8 of Pentacles. The 8 of Pentacles comes up a lot in readings for people who have just found a new job or started college or a training program. This is a person who is honing their craft. I love it when it comes up for artists or those in a healing profession. It's about finally finding your path and working your tail off to succeed at it. When you look at a card, you see the successfully made pentacles hanging on the wall and one on the ground discarded. Oh yeah, you could see this as discarded as well. Like, oh, you know, this one didn't work out so well. Let me move on to the next. This card is about being discerning about your own work and not giving up until you get it right. Yeah. That's I like that way to interpret it as well. This little one on the ground here. God, no, I messed up. I'm not going to beat myself up again. I'm going to start again. I'm going to practice. I'm going to get it right. I'm going to build my craft. I'm going to work. I'm going to make sure I do 50 readings before I actually get in there and charge for one, and I really make sure that, or whatever this is, I'm going to make sure that I'm drawing every single day. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to college and I'm taking my classes and really learning what it is that I want to go and have a profession in. This is me wanting to be a public speaker and me working every single day and asking my friends to sit down and me doing 2 minutes of a speech to them and getting comfortable with talking in front of people. Whatever this is definitely, again, we're talking about taking time. This is patience. This is about honing our skills, our crafts, learning, starting a new thing. So here we have a card where they're drawing. So they're drawing pentacles over and over and over again. They want to get it right. They want to practice their skill. They want to take time for themselves. This is a very solitary type thing. So even for me, at least, so even though you could be working towards learning something and you're in a group setting and you're in a classroom, in the end, this is like a self building. I don't know what the words I'm looking for here. This is very, even if you're working in a group or you're trying to build a business with other people, this is more of like an advancement or a learning opportunity or practicing or honing your craft as an individual. Let's see what you guys are saying. In college right now, and I see this card a lot around exam time. Ooh, yep. So studying, making sure you're going back, making sure that you know your stuff. Yeah. Or even like, I don't know why I just got this in my mind, but let's say you're pregnant and you're like reading all of the blogs and you're reading all of the books and you're really trying to like take time to set up the nursery and you're taking time and you're really making sure that you're prepared, making sure that you feel confident enough in what is going to come or what you're, the new adventure that you're going to start on. I don't know where my mind went to that for. So the 8 of Swords, we're moving on now to the 8 of Swords. And I think after this card, I'm going to take a pee break. So I'll be right back as usual. But let's get into the 8 of Swords. So this one is not the easiest card, you guys. This is a challenge. This is definitely a challenge. I wouldn't be scared of any cards because they can incorporate so many things in your life. And actually, I really like the challenging cards. Maybe not so much when I'm in it, but they help evolve and grow us. So here's what Melissa says about the 8 of Swords. This woman is surrounded by swords. Her hands are bound and she's blindfolded, but her feet are free. If she's careful and if she can conquer her fear, she can walk right out of that cage. She will likely be cut and bleeding when she's out, but she'll finally be free, and it will be worth it. The fear is the thing. Being trapped by your own anxiety and allowing anxiety to direct your life, it's a pretty serious card, as most of the time no one on the outside can see what the big deal is. To the woman standing amidst the swords, though, the fear is everything. Oh, your stalker card right now, Larissa. Well, let me go back. Yes, finally got to see a live stream. It's 1:23 a.m. here in Melbourne. Hi, Angela. So glad that you could make it. I don't blame you if you don't stay very long, but welcome. So the 8 of Swords is, again, what she says, the fear is everything. Remember, when we're dealing with the swords, again, we're dealing with thoughts and communication, and we're talking about air, and we're talking about ideas and knowledge and thoughts. And when it comes to this, it's really, you can see how she's trapped. It's almost like when you hear those things like, this is the I can'ts, I don't know how, those things that hold you back, and you might have all these people on the outside going, just walk through it. Yeah, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna cut, just get out of that relationship, just change your job, just, I don't know what you're worrying about, everybody likes you, just come out to the party, like, you'll be fine. The doctor said that just take this antibiotic and you'll be okay. But in your mind, it's like the worst, the fears, the anxieties, really kind of putting yourself in this not even an, oh, woe is me, like I will fail or I am doomed kind of mindset, when really it might be hard, it might be troubling, you might be going through a difficult situation or making a difficult, having to make a difficult decision. This experience might seem trying to you, but you're kind of making it out sometimes worse than it could be, or you're making things harder on yourself by maybe your thoughts that you're telling yourself, or the way that you're communicating with it, or your lack of confidence. That's kind of a lot where I see this card. And here is the card in the Tarot in Wonderland. It's kind of hard to see this one. Let me hide my face so it can, they're really glossy cards. So in the background here, there is like a hill. She's standing on a chessboard. All the cards are falling around her. And so we have really, thanks, Sammy, school holidays. I'm a teacher, so I'm going to try and stay awake to watch all the stream. Love those nails. Thanks. Thank you so much. I love them too. Very witchy, very pointy, very galactic. I was very happy with them. So yeah, this is basically a mentality or a mindset that you can stick yourself in. Or if this comes up from the other person, like if you're doing a reading and this could come up, this might be really difficult sometimes for you to tell them, like, you're going to be okay. Because they're like, no, I'm not. Everything is ruined. Everything is awful. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to get out. And sometimes this is more so like, you can give the person advice, you can give them the guidance, and if they're in this mindset, like no one can get them out of it except for them. And maybe you might say the key word, or you might inspire them to go in a different direction or think about things in a different way. And that might be the groundwork for them to be able to get themselves out of it. But it's sometimes really hard to break those negative thoughts or those negative feelings and patterns. And this to me comes up a lot with our story. So I want you guys to think about, like, what's your story? You know, everybody has a story. Mine is that I came from a broken home. You know, my parents were divorced. I had a rocky relationship up and down with my dad, you know, blah, 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 you know, and that's the story that we tell ourselves, or that we go over and over in our head of why, you know, things aren't great. And by sticking myself in this story and staying there, I have developed certain isms throughout my life, or certain shadow works that I'm not going into, shadow work that I'm not going into fully because I'm still stuck on this story, if that makes sense. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That was a lot to say just randomly, but okay. So you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to go to the bathroom really quick because it's been an hour and a half. We're really making our way through the cards well, so I'm really happy about this. I will be right back. You guys have any questions or things you want to say? If someone maybe could pop a link again to the Witchy Book Club Facebook group while I'm in here, and maybe you guys can take a second to go in and join the group, because we do discussions about what the next books are. We talk about our homework. People are going live, showing and asking questions in there. So I'll be right back. Okay. I'm back. Yo. Okay, so thank you. Oh my God, that soap smells so good. So good. So now we're moving on to the Eight of Wands. You guys ready? Ready? Eight of Wands. One of the most, I think, interesting looking cards in the Minor Arcana, especially because the ones that are going further and further along, they get more complex in my mind. They get a little bit more in depth. There's a lot more factoring into these sorts of energies. And so there tends to be a lot in the imagery. And then we have all of a sudden the Eight of Wands, and it's just 8 wands literally coming through the air, or however you want to interpret it. And they're all headed in one direction, and it's pretty simple, right? Let's see what Melissa says about it. And I think Gray Night Sky is leaving. Hi, that's okay. I hope that you have a good day as well. Thanks for stopping by and commenting. If you're not already, no, I think you are. I think you're already a part of the Witchy Book Club Facebook group. So next week, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going over the next section, which is the court cards. Okay. The Eight of Wands catches the moment of release that feels like spring to me. There's so much potential surrounding that time of year. The burdens and troubles of the Seven of Wands are put to rest, and the potential for new growth is upon us. I have the hiccups. Sorry, guys. Then she says, there has to be some kind of hope attached to the season of growing. You can feel the bubbling up of new life and see signs of growth poking up through the snow. This is the Eight of Wands to me. Not achieving your goals, but starting them. Being brave and tossing your seeds in the air. Some of them will fail. This is true. Sometimes you will start and become frustrated and disheartened, but if you don't give up, you'll grow. When I first started using the Rider-Waite-Smith deck and learning, you know, the Rider-Waite-Smith meaning and seeing this imagery, it felt like to me that there was a lineup like in Robin Hood. Like, okay, we're doing an archery competition. And there's all these targets and there's all these people and it's like pull back and release, right? And everyone's shooting their arrow at their own target and they're trying to hit the point. They're trying to get as close as they can, and it's that sort of energy, that release of energy, or that release of focus towards a certain goal. But the more and more that I started to think about it, and the more I started doing readings and kind of learning about this card, to me, it comes up a lot with like, why not throw one arrow? Why just throw one arrow when you can, or why not throw one wand when you can take fistfuls of wands and kind of put it out there and throw it, and hopefully one will land on your target. There's something to be said about balancing, like, all right, like, don't throw too many wands because it's worth to kind of hone in and to, like, you know, really make sure you're focusing on what you're doing. But instead of just giving yourself one option of like, oh, there's this job that I know is hiring and I really want out of my job, you know, this is the perfect fit for me. Let me go and apply to this job. Well, that's one option. So if you recognize that you want out of this job, just going and throwing one arrow or one wand towards this one goal might be enough, but it might not be enough. So while you're already at it, why don't you go ahead and find a couple other jobs to apply to, and maybe you'll get a call back for an interview on two of those instead of just having your heart set on one specific thing. So to me, this is a lot of energy. This is a lot of movement. It's a lot of focus and passion towards a certain thing. But sometimes it's best just to kind of like throw all your wands at a target and hopefully one will land. There's obviously a lot of different ways you can interpret that, but that's some of the evolution of where I went when I was learning this card in. But I initially thought of it, and this is, I like this a lot. This is really cool because it's the same sort of thing, but we're having a different perspective instead of now coming from the side. You know, we're still 8 wands through the air, but they're on cards and they look like they're coming. To me, it's almost like someone is like throwing cards like this and hopefully someone will come and land somewhere. Or again, it could be like a lineup of people and everyone's like, here's what I want and hopefully I hit my target, or hopefully it lands somewhere and sticks. That's what this energy is to me. And I like how she talks about like throwing your seeds up in the air instead of being like, I'm gonna plant this one seed here and this one seed here. It's like when you're planting seeds, a lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the times you'll take a few seeds and you'll drop it in the hole and you'll cover it up because you're hoping that 1 or 2 of those will take root and grow. Same sort of energy there. Really like the 8 of Wands. It's very exciting. All of the things. So now we're into the 8 of Cups. So the 8 of Cups is this little guy. And by the way, may I just say, I absolutely adore this little simple moon sun combo here, or like the moon phase we can see here. I don't know what it is about this, but I really like it. So here we can see somebody looking like they're walking away. They've crossed a river where we know there's water. Again, we're going to be talking about emotion, because anytime we see water, there's emotion, especially with the moon. The moon is also going to be emotions. And we're dealing with the cups, which is emotions. So this is emotions, emotions, emotions. Ready? Melissa says, I pretty much highlighted this entire section because I liked what they wrote. Come on, focus on me. I call this the hangover card. It's true, but it can't be broadened to include overdoing it in other ways. But it can't, it's true, but it can be broadened to include overdoing it in other ways, like being a tyrant at work, being a party girl when you should be at home, etc. It's kind of the morning after walk of shame card. You've somehow walked away from the important truths in your life, and you have to shake your head to knock the cobwebs out. It's a card that happens just before the client asks for redemption. There is nothing at all wrong with playing video games. There is so much wrong with using video games to escape your marriage, parenting duties, or, life. It seems like vices are vices, not because they are inherently bad for us, but because too much of them is terrible for us. You can have one drink, but not 20. I could go on and on, but the main point here is moderation is key. And in this card, I feel like it's the recognition a lot of the times that we do have to have more balance, or that sometimes it's easier to not moderate or go down to like, oh, I'm gonna, you see this a lot with like people who are doing cleanses or doing diets. It's not so much like, I've been eating like shit. Oh, wow, I've been really having an unhealthy relationship to food. Let me just take a look a little bit and kind of come back and like eat a little bit better. A lot of the times it's like we're going from here, we're recognizing it, we're really dealing with our emotions, and we're kind of cutting a lot of things out, like we're like going on this big, huge diet to make this change. That was kind of a specific scenario there, but same thing along the lines of like, I need a fresh start. I need to walk away from my bad habits. I haven't been treating my body well, my mind well. I haven't been taking care of myself. And instead of just kind of honing in, like I need to really walk away and cleanse and do like this big, big renewal here. So here is the card in the Wonderland Tarot, or the Tarot in Wonderland. God, I don't know. I just don't know, you guys. So you can see that there's these stacks of cups here, and there's a pig in the top of this. And I feel like this deck is really, really cool for people who know the story of Through the Looking Glass in depth, because someone might be like, why the hell is this pig in the top of this cup? But in the story, she has a baby, and the Duchess gives her this baby. And as she's walking, like, the baby turns into a pig, and she's got, like, even though she's kind of grown fond of it, or she doesn't know what to do with it, and she feels really bad, she kind of just is leaving this pig where it's at in this card. I'm kind of like paraphrasing it, or kind of turning it into a meaning for this card as well. So, even though it's hard for her, because she's like, I don't know what this pig's gonna do, like, I don't know where to go from here, but like, I know I can't take care of this pig. Let me move on and kind of try and take care of myself. But there's a lot that this can pull into. This could be walking away from an unhealthy relationship and recognizing that it was dysfunctional, whether on your part, both, or, this could be letting go of a career that you really thought that you were working towards and you thought was going to be good for you, but there's no room for advancement, and you're really upset because you loved your job, and there's whatever this is, there is definite emotions involved in a walking away, or a changing of pace, or a moving of mindset away from like, I need to reevaluate how things are going. Yeah, I think that's my best way to summarize that card. Anybody got any questions? Anybody? Are we good? The Eight of Cups is hard. It's not an easy one to walk through. But I feel like it's not one of the hardest cards, if that makes sense, because there's hope, like, yeah, it's hard. I'm letting go of this. I'm walking away from this situation. I'm choosing to cut this person out of my life, and it's been a long time coming. But at the same time, I know that it's for the best. I know that I can see the healthy lifestyle. I can see my body getting the food it needs now, instead of, pizza rolls and Hot Pockets kind of thing. Angela, could be someone who's always chasing new dreams and never being satisfied. That's another good way to pull on it. Like, oh, I've worked a little bit on this and this is what I want and this was emotionally fulfilling me, but you know what? It's not happening as quick as I want to, so let me just let this go and let me start this new thing. You know, that's definitely an area in which this card could be interpreted. Sam just missed the last 30 minutes. Stupid job. It's all right. These live streams are so long. 30 minutes is like nothing. I peed for like 5 seconds of that anyways. Okay, I no longer want to drink that coffee. It's pretty much gone anyways. Now, let's move on to the nines. We're making our way through. We're making our way through the nines. We've made it to the nines. So the nines are about maturing. Let me pull my nines out here. All right. The nines are about maturing. Even the dearest of nines, the swords. I'm reading this so wrong. I'm sorry. The nines are about maturing. Even the direst of the nines, the swords, is about awareness. Awareness isn't always comfortable. It can make you see that your beloved relationships are bigots, or beloved relatives are bigots, or that your marriage isn't always a marriage. Becoming aware is helpful in the cups, appreciating what you have, or in the pentacles, appreciating your harvest. The wands are waking you up to challenges to your moral core. When you grow up, your values change and your perceptions shifts. The nines are essentially about becoming awake to the world around you, to the present. It's a wonderful thing. Yeah, the nines, we're getting in depth and deep here. And so the Nine of Pentacles, we can see, looks like a woman. She's in her garden. She's French. She's like got all the Snow White vibes. She's Sleeping Beauty here. She's talking, communicating with the birds. She's surrounded by her wealth and her crops and her well-awaited harvest. And the Knight of Pentacles is like so Beyonce to me. She's like, I got my shit. I've worked hard. Look at me in my wealth. Look at me like I got a bird friend. Okay, like how cool am I? So Melissa says, there is a woman at peace in her garden, breathing. It's lovely, really. This card speaks of gratitude and confidence. It's about treating yourself as well as you treat the people you love, and it's the result of hard work and perseverance. This is the bounty that the Seven of Pentacles was working so hard to uncover. The fruits of perfectionism of the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, I really like the progression of the Pentacles throughout these three cards that we just went over. So from the Seven of Pentacles being like, I'm waiting, you know, come on, I've worked so hard. And then the Eight of Pentacles was like, you know what? No, let me work even harder. Let me hone my craft. Let me learn as much as I can. Let me put in the time and energy. And then the Nine of Pentacles is like, look how fucking cool I am. Look at, I did it. I made it. I've got the successful business. I've got the thing. I'm doing the things and I'm reaping the rewards of my hard work. And this isn't just things are handed to me. This is like, I am the master. I am mastering. This is my favorite cards. It just feels so fulfilled and peaceful. Agreed, Sam. Imogen, I'm about 10 hours late, but I'm here. Hi, everyone. Hi, Imogen. It's like the... Wait, I think I missed a comment. Oh, no. Could be someone who's always chasing... Oh, no, that was the last one. Okay, so yeah, to me, this is like definitely someone who's in and knows their worth, someone who's making their life work for them. They might not have it all figured out. This isn't about like perfectionism. This is about like it's happening. It's working. I'm confident. I have my shit together. The entrepreneurs, the business owners, the bosses, the badass mothers, the leaders, the teachers, being able to know and work and study and now pass along possibly your information to others. Here's what it looks like in the... This is really colorful in the Tarot of Wonderland. She's got her raven. She's walking through. She looks like she's got him trained. you know, all the pentacles are around her and her flowers. So yeah, this is another one. I mean, we don't really have, I'm trying to think of what else to go into with this. This is very, yeah, Imogen says grounded. Knight of Pentacles has such a grounded vibe. Hashtag goals. Yeah, so again, when we're talking about Pentacles or the Earth suit, we're talking about resources, we're talking about finances, we're talking about the physical, our home, our jobs, our relationships, our pets, our, you know, all of those things. And this is like maybe like you were building a house or you were moving and you're sitting back and maybe you just designed and did all of the things in the room that you wanted to, and you're sitting on your couch and you're looking back and you're just having a cup of coffee and you're looking around like, look at all this hard work I did. Like, I made this room feel like I wanted this room to feel, and it looks great and I feel great and I'm confident, I'm proud of myself. And even though I have more work ahead of me, it's never ending, but like, I feel accomplished. I did what I set out to do, and I made the thing. I did the things. Enjoying the benefits of all your hard work. Exactly. Way to recap and end that card. Raven are cool. Yep, they are. I really love ravens. Can you see my little, can you see my raven? My raven up there? Anyways, I'm going to tip this over. So now we're going to be dealing with some not so easy card. But, whew, man, I've definitely dealt with the Nine of Swords recently in this past summer. It was, oh, we're dealing, Sammy, your nails are so gorgeous, by the way. Thanks. Everyone keeps commenting on my nails. Very like witchy, pointy, like a midnight blue with like this metallic-y silver, very ethereal, and I like them. Thank you so much for commenting. So now look at this black card. Again, I want you guys to take in, if you're learning, it's not even so much about learning the actual meanings of the cards. You can get the meaning yourself and interpret that as, I mean, when you look at this card, what do you see? You see someone laying in their bed with their hands in their hands. They look like maybe they just woke up from a nightmare, or maybe they're trying to go to sleep, but their grief and their fears and their anxieties or their thoughts, because we're dealing with communication again with swords and air. All of these things are just getting to them and they can't sleep. Like, that's a big thing for this card, is like, why aren't you sleeping? Because you can't turn your mind off, or because you can't let things go. So this is a card of fears and anxieties and troubles and nightmares and lack of sleep and these thoughts and these what ifs, or these what have been and we won't get out of it. Yeah, it's definitely the insomnia card. So let's see what Melissa has to say about it. This is about anxiety and sleeplessness, a pain in your stomach, a wrinkle on your forehead, all of these things that come with the Nine of Swords. Your mind is too full, your troubles seemed vast and unmanageable, and you just can't put them down. Anxiety comes when we can't control the outcome of a something. Let me read that again, y'all. Anxiety comes when we can't control the outcome of something. What if I have a disease? What if they don't love me? What if I fail? The uncontrolled dizziness that comes while we're spinning around, trying to figure out what our life will look like. It's exhausting, yet keeps us from sleep. So yeah, I really like that wording of anxiety comes from the fear of not being able to control something, or not being able to know the outcome. With people that can like go with the flow a whole lot, or that are just like, whatever, things will happen as they happen. I mean, everybody has all of the cards or experiences all the cards at some point. You know, maybe even this can be on a simpler mindset of like, I have to do a presentation at class and I hate public speaking and I'm nervous, and the hour before I'm sweating and I'm my heart's going really fast and I'm thinking about it and all of those things like that. That's where this card can manifest in the simple ways like that. But it also can be in really difficult, challenging of, again, I've had this headache for 3 days. Why hasn't it gone away? Is there something really wrong with me? Or what am I doing wrong? Or he hasn't texted me back. Am I not worthy? Am I never going to find love? Like, this could spin so out of control on things, or doubts and fears and anxieties. And even though this is a challenging card, this is, again, sometimes harder when you're in the moment than what it really is, because this is a lot of these things that are fears or holding you up at night. Not always, but a lot of the times they don't matter, or they don't even come into fruition. So what if I wake up tomorrow and I lose all my subscribers? You know, I've worked so hard, like fearing for something that you'd have no control over. I feel like air really plays a big role. Like your fears make you take off and spin out of control like a tornado, not in a good way. For me, it's the opposite of being grounded. Great. I love that. Yeah, being so in your thoughts or in your communication with other people. Or like, let's say you have a suspicion that somebody's cheating on you, and for the last 4 hours, all you've done is talk to your girlfriends about like, well, what if he's doing this? Or what if they're going here? And I feel like I saw this and he's being weird in this conversation. And you've just wrapped yourself up so much in this thought process and these fears that now you're not grounded in logical and kind of in your own space to be able to, you know, you kind of got sucked up in your own tornado. And sometimes what we fear is actually the reality of the situation. It's not always that this card that it doesn't happen. A lot of the times your fears and anxieties are from a situation that is currently happening. Maybe you are being cheated on and you know that and you can't sleep, or you don't know what to do or whatever. But that real fear or anxiety is from not knowing the outcome. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Read that in the books. Read that in a book somewhere. I love that. So this is the Tarot in Wonderland version of this card. We have the white rabbit. I'm late. He's always fearing he's not going to be on time, that he's not going to be appreciated, that maybe he's always fearing that the Queen of Hearts will just one day say off with his head. Maybe this is a stressful job where you feel like you're under interrogation all the time by your boss. Maybe you're, you know, fearing like you're not good enough, or whatever this is. I dealt with this in this past summer in a really unique way that I've never had to deal with this Nine of Swords. And I've talked about it briefly throughout videos, but I don't know if I've really, there was so much that was happening. Every single person in my life, when I had this card for the month, pretty much every female in my life was dealing with really heavy Nine of Swords energy. So much to where I was sitting back, like almost trying my best not to create it for myself, because I'm like, why is everybody else panicking? Why is everybody else struggling through these anxieties and PTSD and worries and just anxiety attacks and self-doubt and not being able to sleep? Like, everybody, I was getting readings from people that I had read from before that were calling me like, hey, I know that you normally don't do this, but I really need you to throw some cards for me. Can I pay you X amount of money and you just give me some information? I need information now. I need to know. Like, that doesn't happen to me a lot. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? And there was people that were doubting and all these things. So it's interesting sometimes the way that the cards can manifest in your life, but not directly to you. So I was literally surrounded by this Nine of Swords feelings and trying to navigate and live my life accordingly, but also try to help people without getting too involved, being there for a support system for people that were living in their anxiety and living in their fears. And that was almost worse. Is it worse to sit back and watch the people you care and you love about go through these really intense anxieties and fears and trauma situations and kind of feel like you're helpless on the outside of really truly giving to them? Or is it harder to be in it? I guess it's a flip of the coin, or however, you know, just depends. But yeah, so sometimes these manifest and they're not really happening to you, they're happening to those who you love around you, and you have to navigate that energy and like that. Okay, moving on, we're on the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands. So this one was a harder one for me to learn. I feel like this one was one of the ones that I struggle with a little bit because the visual for me isn't entirely clear. There's so many what ifs of this situation. And in that, with learning, I needed a little bit more of like concrete things. And because there's so many possibilities of what this card could be, it was harder for me to learn from that, I guess. So let me see what Melissa Cynova says about the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands reminds us to protect ourselves. We need time to heal. We need to reassess who we can trust, and we need to gather our resources after we've had the Jesus kicked out of us. Also, we need to keep an eye to those who truly have our backs, because that's a gift that needs attention and gratitude. Let me see if I highlighted anything else here. Yes, it did. Okay. I get this a lot with people who are chronically ill and are still trying to maintain a lifestyle that makes them happy. The disease isn't going to change them, not if they can help it. Another meaning is protecting oneself. He's obviously been attacked and now he's ready. Unless inverted, our man has support. Some of his braveness is coming from his friend's hand on his back. Some of the strength is being willed to him, gifted to him, and he's accepting and is stronger for it. Yeah, so I think that's what was unclear to me a lot with the imagery in this card, is that it looks like maybe he was protecting himself, or that he had this border and this barrier, and that he seems innately fine. He's standing up. He looks like he's waiting, or he's looking like he's a lookout for something, but he also looks like he got the shit kicked out of him. So it's about being able to get, to me, it looks like building a cage around ourselves. Yeah. Thoughts, anyone, for how to broach this? Oh, sorry. Good morning, anyone. I keep getting the Nine of Swords from my friend. Okay, somebody else help her out, and we haven't. We already. Maybe I should. All right, let's. Madeline. Okay. Going back, she's talking about, good morning, everybody. I keep getting the Nine of Swords from my one friend, and I'm not sure how to bring it up to her, since they have been reading that I have been doing since since they have been readings that I have been doing to try and see how to help her. Thoughts, anyone, for how to broach the subject? That's something that I kind of don't want to get too far into, but if anybody else wants to have a conversation with her in the comments, feel free. But I'm going to keep going just because we're almost 2 hours into it. So that might be something too that you could bring up in the Facebook group if you don't get anything back or feedback from the comments. But I think it's an interesting thing to talk about. So the Nine of Wands, to me, it looks like, wait, what is, let me say, Angela says, to me, it looks like building a cage around ourselves. Yeah, so it's kind of like, oh, shit, somebody talked about me, or somebody, this could be actual physical, like, I got the shit beat out of me. I'm going to get a bar for the wheel on my car, or I'm going to carry pepper spray on me now, or whatever the deal is. But obviously the chances of that being like what the situation is a little bit lower than something like, because this is energy, this is passion, this is action. Wands is fire. So it's about like, hey, I went really, really hard and tried to promote this idea that I had, and everybody told me what a horrible idea it was, or everybody kicked me down, or nobody supported me, and I was super excited about it. And even though I'm going to get back up and I'm going to be stronger and I'm going to keep going, I'm going to be a little bit more protective, or I'm going to be a little bit more, you know, guarded in the way that I'm putting myself out there, or the way that I'm going about certain situations. You know, there's pros and cons, there's positives and challenges to every energy and every card. And I feel like this one might have a little bit more of an after effect of the challenging. So this is like I was hurt and I was wronged, or I allowed myself to get the shit beat out of me, you know, because this isn't so much as blaming others for what has happened to us. It's about preventative energy, and it's about taking a stance. It's about becoming stronger, but more so about there has been some sort of thing here that has pushed us back, or that has wronged us, or that we have gone through that's really kind of put us down in the dirt, and now we want to be aware of it. Protecting oneself. That is the Nine of Wands. We're doing it. We're getting through. So now we're on the last of the nines. We are doing the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups. So look at this guy. He's sitting, pushing through adversity. Pushing through adversity. Yep. So we struggled. We had hard times. It wasn't easy, but we're doing it. We're getting through. We're still making action. We're making movement. We haven't given up. We might have started again at ground zero, but we're stronger for it, kind of thing. Nine of Cups. So you see this curved, weird table banner thing that never made sense to me. This ledge with a curtain. And we have all these cups lined up behind, and this guy's sitting down. He's kind of like feeling confident. To me, this always felt guarded. You know, whenever there's body language to me of like, you know, there is this relaxation within, like, I'm confident. I'm sitting here with my arms crossed. I'm doing a good job. Like, I have nothing to worry about. But there's always been something to me with body language. When somebody has their arms crossed, um, they might be comfortable and they might be secure and confident, but you're still body language wise protecting your heart area, your lungs, your heart. Or if you've ever had somebody talking and then all of a sudden they cross their hands, it feels like they're blocking you off from them, which was an interesting aspect that I don't feel like comes up a lot in books. Like this is innately a really positive card for the most part. So let's read what Melissa has to say. And I think that if you take a look at the card in this deck, it's the same sort of imagery, except for instead of this person having their arms crossed, they're sitting back open with the hand kind of like resting very confidently or relaxed. And there's still like this smug kind of cockiness coming from the figure's body language, but it's different to me, very different than having these arms crossed. This person does not feel relaxed to me. This person feels guarded. So let's see. Melissa says, if the man seated in this card could speak, he would say, you know, I don't even have to look over my shoulder to count my blessings. I'm certain of them. I know that even one cup falls and spills, the other 8 will be enough to sustain me, and I will fill the fallen cup back up to the brim as soon as I am able. I'm grateful, I'm joyful, I'm satisfied with life and with my place in it. This card is not about being rich or having a big puffy shirt. This card is about being satisfied and having enough, and even more so, it's about being grateful for what you've got. And I feel like that last line to me throws a little bit of what I get intuitively from the body language of this card. This does not feel grateful to me. This, which I get from this in readings, and it's about, you know, knowing that you have enough, knowing that you're fulfilled, knowing that you've done what you need to, or maybe you are a trust fund baby, or maybe you have a really loving family. There's not a whole bunch of drama. Everybody supports and loves each other, and you have a good emotional support system, or that you're confident in your relationship, or whatever this may be. This was something that always kind of didn't sit well with me, was the fact that this is a card about being grateful, about being confident, knowing that you have enough, not worrying, you know, knowing that if one of the cards tipped over that you can just fill it back up. But and it's interesting because here is the Wonderland and Tarot version. You see the caterpillar on the mushroom and all of this back here, and even though there's like these barren trees, like there's no leaves on the trees, he seems confident, he seems enough. So let me go back and read some of your guys' comments, because this is kind of interesting. I always get kind of a creepy vibe from this card, like he's feeling really smug and condescending. Anyone else get that feeling? Yeah, looks a bit self-centered. And I feel like obviously coming with the fact of like, I have enough, I don't have to worry about it. Like, and it's not even like she said about being rich, it's about being grateful or having gratitude. I'm not saying I disagree with Melissa. I don't initially get that energy from the way that this is depicted. And even then, I don't feel that in the card of the one that was depicted in her book that she's looking at, where he's a little bit more open with his energy and he's kind of hanging out. Now, where I can pull from this in the story of Alice in Wonderland is when Alice meets back up later in the book again with the caterpillar, he kind of is asking her, like, what does she want? Where is she going? And she's like, I want to be taller. And he's kind of like, why do you want to be taller? She goes, because 3 inches high is such a wretched height, or I am too small and I don't know who I am anymore. I thought it was one thing when I woke up this morning, but I've changed so many times, I don't know where I'm at. And he gets really offended and really angry at her because he's saying that he's 3 inches high, and how dare her for saying that, 3 inches is a wretched height. I am perfectly fine with who I am and where I am. And I feel like that defensive, that guardedness can also play across where that gratefulness can lie. Recognizing that some other people might think that they're in a bad situation, but you're in that same situation and you're like, you know what? I can see the positive in this. I can see where this is working out. You know what? If you need a little bit of help, I've got plenty of cups. I got this really lush mushroom. Here you go. You know, here's one side of the mushroom, it'll make you taller. Here's the other side, it'll make you shorter. You choose to do with it what you will. I'm sitting over here and I'm happy. I got everything I need. If you want to have an outlook of life, if you want to emotionally, you know, live in a space of ungratefulness or not realizing that it could be worse or that every situation is hard, that's kind of where I can connect those two things together. But I think it's interesting because there's not a whole lot of books that kind of go into that. It seems a little bit more like it's described positively to me, and not so much about, and it's innately an easier, positive, abundant, it's abundance, it's cards, and it's about knowing that you have enough to sustain you. But that body language to me just never, you know, was fully described enough. I get a feeling of smugness from this card as well. Seems like he hasn't learned from the Eight of Cups. Makes sense? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Maybe like the Eight of Cups where we had the card of walking away and being like, all right, listen, I'm starting this new diet. I'm making my life work for me. I'm going from ground zero. I'm letting go of alcohol. I'm letting go of sugar. I'm doing all these things and I'm starting this new diet. And then, you know, a couple months later, you start losing weight and you're like, I feel great. I'm doing well. I'm very happy. I'm making this work for me. But also now you might have this like little bit of edge of like, I'm better, or this is gonna last forever, or I don't know. I see what you're saying, how it's coming from the Eight of Cups is like maybe he hasn't gone all the way, but he thinks he has, kind of thing. Interesting. Let's move on. And maybe we can go into that again in a later date and have like a separate conversation about that. But innately, it is about having enough, feeling confident, knowing that you really don't have to keep checking your resources, or, you know, feeling confident in your relationship that you don't feel like there's any doubts there. You know, you just, it's a comfortable and abundant type emotional energy. So now we're on to the, oh, she has this 9 3/4, right? I feel like, I need a drink of water, but I feel like this is worth reading a little bit about. And this, I've never seen any book kind of go into this energy. And also she's referencing to Harry Potter, so we're going to go into it. Melissa talks about 9 3/4. Love me a good Harry Potter reference. Same, Larissa. I like seeing action in cards. The Fool is about to jump. The Magician is about to put a hurting on something that is in his way. The Queen of Wands is about to get out of her chair and make things happen. And then there are the tens. Bleh. She's the only one I've ever heard explain the tens in this way. Like the only one. So we're on the last of the Minor Arcana. We're on the tens. But before that, there's this energy in between the 9s and 10s. And she's saying that the 10 of Wands is about to fall. Swords is going to bleed to death. Cups is the breath of air after the occasion where you start cleaning up and looking for the change in the couch. The 10 of Pentacles is just so saturated with stuff that it is as boring as watching paint dry. I think that the sweet spot in tarot is just between the 9s and the 10s. The 9 3/4 to be precise. Thank you, J.K. Rowling, for narrowing down precisely where magic begins. In the 9s, you have the feeling of wanting, needing in each suit. The 10s are a form of completion. 9 3/4 means you're nearly to your goal, but you're still moving. I don't like the complacency that comes along with the 10 of Cups. It's very reminiscent of hopelessness of the 10 of Swords. There has to be something to strive for to make anything worth doing. Resting your laurels is only going to result in crumpled laurels or something equally deep. When you get the 9s in a reading, share the excitement with the client. When you get the 10s, ask where they're headed next. So because the 10s is the final card in the Minor Arcana, it stands to reason that there's like a completion, that there is a fulfillment, or there is some thing that is finally coming to be, and then we're ending. But with every ending, there's always a new beginning. And that's what she's saying about this, is sometimes within these cards, there is this feeling within this that's like, ta-da, the end. But like, there's never the end. There's always a continuous of growth or experiences or anything. And even though there's a closing of a chapter, a closing of a book, or, you know, an ending of an energy here, whether as challenging as the 10 of Swords or as beautiful as the 10 of Cups, she's saying she doesn't like it as much because it's like, well, what now? You know, like, let's keep going. What are we doing? And there isn't so much in that in the 10s. So she's saying that from the 9 to the 10s, there is this sweet spot of like, we're getting there, we're almost there. Whether again, as challenging as the 10 of Swords or as happy or 10 of Wands, you know. So let's break these down and we will be finished with the Minor Arcana. So the 10s is excess. The 10s are just overdone. So much. How flipping long can you stand and wave at a rainbow? What happens after that? The 10s remind me of self-differentiation. They are all about having a poorly differentiated self and carrying around other people's nonsense and drama. Self-differentiation is the act of developing your own sense of self so fully that other people's opinions, emotions, or approval don't cause you to change or adjust how you think or behave. Woo. That if people don't like you or what you're about, you can hear them and then go on your merry way. Sounds easy, right? Not so much, turns out. It also includes being able to share your opinions without undully pressuring others to change their minds or actions to match yours, even if you disagree, especially if you disagree. You can be empathetic without owning someone else's tragedy. You can be compassionate without carrying their hurt around with you. You can cause people to be disappointed because you act one way and not another. You can be okay with that disappointment because it doesn't belong to you. You can learn to listen to someone's anxieties without being anxious yourself. And you can absolutely hear, it's not you, it's me, and believe it. So the 10s, they're a lot, and a lot more than people need, for sure. Are you ready? Ready to finish? That's not what I want. Ready to finish the Minor Arcana? We're going to start with the 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles. First of all, initially looking at this card, there's just like, there's so much going on. Like all of the 10 of Pentacles are like in your face. They're kind of in front of everything. It's like almost shielding the situation. There's a lot of colors. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of people in here. A lot of very grounded, earthy things. You're seeing bridges. You're seeing buildings. You're seeing families and pets and harvests and like all of the coins and all of the things. And remember, we're finishing this suit off. This is grounded. This is earthly. This is resources. This is money, relationships, stability, and all of the material things. All of the things, right? Excess. So she says this is about sharing your wealth. And there's a lot of wealth, whether it's emotional or spiritual wealth, you have it in abundance and are more than willing to share. It's about inheritance, financial stability, and charity. There's a lot of family legacy in this card. It's not always money that gets graciously passed on. Material possessions, habits, all of things, you know. It's about being among people without basing your emotional health or well-being on them. That's a load that they don't need to carry, although it seems like a lot of people want to these days. So again, we're finishing off this suit with a lot. It's abundance, but in a resources, in a family sense, in a material possession. Sometimes to me, this can be like walking into a house or getting, okay, let's just say a family member passes away and you get inherited all of their things. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is such a horrible situation, but I'm so grateful that I have the material resources to make my life work now. But then you go in and you're like, holy shit, these people were hoarders. Like, what? All of the things. Like, I have a lot and abundant of material possessions and I'll make this work, but this could be in excess as well in that sort of situation. Or sometimes you can have a big, happy family meal and get together on things. Like sometimes this feels like Thanksgiving dinner to me, or like Christmas, where it's like all of the gifts and all of the families together and it's happy and it's joyous. But there's always some underlying thing where, you know, a lot of people's different energy or the gifts, like one of the gifts are going to be something that you might not necessarily want, or maybe someone didn't really appreciate the gift that you gave them. And I don't want to kind of water these down too much, but giving at least some more practical scenarios in which I'm kind of coming up with connecting to the tens, because I think sometimes people go like, how do I read the tens? Like, that's it. That's congratulations. A lot of these are like fulfilled. Like, this is, again, this would be like, okay, so the 9 of Pentacles is, look at me, like, I've got it. I'm reaping the reward of my hard work. I'm sitting back at this room that I built for myself, that I started with ripping down the walls and repainting and taking my time and really putting my effort in. Then we moved to the 8 of Pentacles, where it was like I did my research and I worked really, really hard on learning how to refurbish the furniture and how to, buy and look for the best deals. And I really worked really hard to learn how to be an interior designer, basically, and redo the front living room of my home. Then we moved to the 9 of Pentacles, where she's sitting in her living room and she's going like, wow, look, I did a really kick-ass job in here, and I'm great. Like, I'm confident, I'm happy at my successes. And then maybe the 10 of Pentacles is like, let's invite the family over and have a party, and let's host Christmas here this year, and everyone can see, look how good I did, and it's abundant and it's happy, it's fulfilled. That was such a random way to succession through those few cards, and I missed the 6, but you guys are getting what I'm saying here. It's success. But like, let's look at the Tarot in Wonderland card here. We have her, she's comfortable, she's grounded, she's taken a nap, she's surrounded by her cats, she's made it back home. This is maybe her like waking up from her dream. All of the finer things. And then she's got her family members up on the wall looking over her, the earthly element of this green wall. Hopping on really quick on my lunch break. So excited to see you're still live. Hi, Sarah. Thanks so much for joining us. So yeah, this is like the completion, grounded, the fulfillment of having all of the resources, having financial comforts, taking a good nap on the luxury and finer things, the material home. But now what? What is she going to do when she wakes up? And that's where Melissa's going with that 9 3/4 and the 10s thing. Let's keep going. It's really hard to kind of summarize and to end off with some of these 10 cards, because again, thinking about going back to the major arcana as well, our ending card is the World. And even though you're celebrating, you're stepping through that portal of like, I've finished, I've accomplished, I've done the thing. Now what? Now you start back again with another fool's journey in a different regards. Same with the 10s kind of thing. I feel like the World card is one of the most hard to talk about and to explain. It is now complete. Metamorphing from child to wisdom. Still on 10 of Cups. Not a fast rider. But what? Still on 9 of Cups. I think we haven't done the 10 of Cups yet. I think I know what you're trying to say. That's okay, Kay. It's okay, Kay. So we're going to move on now to the 10 of Swords. Dum, dum, dum. 10 of Swords is not the easiest card in the deck. I'm not going to lie to you. Matter of fact, it might be the hardest, I think. Okay, well, now got to go to lunch. I'm starving. See you guys next week. Thank you so much, Sam. I'll see you. And I will see you in the Witchy Book Club Facebook group. So now we have the 10 of Swords. So the 10 of Swords is pretty much... That's okay. That's okay. This pretty much is what it looks like. I think this one's pretty easy to interpret. This person looks dead as a doornail, and there's not much coming back from this. It's not like 1 or 2 swords stabbed in the back. It's not like the 3 of Hearts where it's like, oh, this looks bleak, but maybe they can make it out of the way out of this. This is like dark, dreary. Oh man, I've been stabbed in the back so many times. Let me just lay down, So let me see, and let me read to you what Melissa says about the 10 of Swords. I love her. This is just the worst damn card, honestly. The best thing that you can say when this card shows up is that at least things won't get any worse. This is literally the bottom. It's excessive, painful, excruciating, and final. So in the card, the guy is flat on the ground. 10 swords are stuck in him. not near or around, but in and through. There isn't just ill intent around this card. There are goddamn flesh wounds. Let's not take this too lightly, right? This is hitting rock bottom. The swords are all about your brain, remember? It's one thing for someone to call you a name. It's another entirely for you to believe it and take it into you. That saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, that's not true. Not at all. Most of the time when this card comes up in a reading, I can hear what the client is doing to themselves in their head, and it's scary. People can be so mean to themselves, so abusive. If a stranger on the street said those things to me, you're stupid, you're weak, you're a coward, you're ugly, you're worthless, I would probably punch them for it. If you're flat on your face, you should probably just lie there for a second and catch your breath. It's not going to get any worse, and if your luck has driven you to the ground, you're in no condition to go anywhere. I think that a lot of people feel they can't stay in depression for too long or they're a failure. That's not fair. Sometimes depression is a soft place to land so that you can heal and grow stronger and carry on. If I were to sum up the 10 of Swords, which evidently is what I'm about to do, I would say stay down. You're down there for a reason. Figure out what it is and then have a nap, okay? Melissa, you're so hilarious and you make this so easy to understand. Let's take a look at this because I adore this interpretation of the 10 of Swords. So if you're not familiar with Humpty Dumpty, which is a part of the Through the Looking Glass Lewis Carroll novel, but it's the Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty back together again. And yeah, so you see Humpty Dumpty has fallen off the wall. There's all these swords stuck, and he's got all these little pieces of him in his clothing. Like, he's not going to get put back together again, at least not right now, or not in the way that he was before. The only one who's going to put Humpty back together again is himself, and it's going to be totally transformative. This is a transforming energy to me, or the beginning energy of transforming, but there needs to be a total pause, like that whole like stay down. If you've ever seen someone or had to talk to someone, or if you've ever been in a situation of like time heals all wounds, like you don't even have the time yet. Like it's happening, it's just happening, and sometimes you just have to live it and feel it and breathe it, and then live it and breathe it and feel it again, and then think about trying to move on, but like slowly, like just take a beat. You know what I mean? In my reading for this year, I got this as my general health and well-being card. Pretty daunting. It is, I'm sorry, but I'm doing my best to see it as it really can't get any worse from here approach. Exactly. And even though it's like when you're in this situation, like, damn, I don't want that, like it can't get any worse, but sometimes that's the hope and the holy spark that we can get. I dealt with some really, really, really hard situations and energies this past week with a friend. And in the beginning of the week, we thought that she was here. Towards the end of the week and this past weekend, she is here. Like, she is here. There's, like, she's defeated and down, and the only thing that can happen is trying to hold on to any sort of possible good outcomes, or just knowing that life will go on and that things will happen, and there is positives, as hard as it is sometimes. Sometimes you need to completely be destroyed. Sometimes you need to completely just fall off the wall, stay down, and transform yourself into starting again with the Ace of Wands as a clear mindset and as pure, and it's hard. There's no way around it. This card is difficult. I look at that card as a learn from experience and move forward. Yeah, but sometimes when you are in that, it's very difficult to say that. It is definitely easy to say that when you're not going through it, kind of like a tower moment, or, you know, Three of Swords energy. It's like, just, I'm sorry for what you're going through. This is not going to be easy, but I'm here for you if you need my help. but this is something that you kind of have to just go through. This card is a reminder to ask the other person if the other person is okay. Also to remember that hard situations can be used to make us stronger. I agree, Angela, but I think something too to remember in this is it's a reminder to ask if the other person's okay, but it's kind of to recognize that like you probably already know that they're not okay. And that is okay. It's okay for them to not be okay. Not everyone is going to be okay all the time, but to just know that you can be there to support them to help themselves get back to okay, if that makes sense. It's such a good way to look at it. Thanks, Amy. No problem, Larissa. I'm glad to help. And I'm thank Melissa Cynova because she's laying the groundwork and I'm just kind of spitting out interpretations of how she wrote about the cards. Let's keep going because we're 2 hours and 24 minutes into this. So now we're going to be talking about one of my biggest stalker cards of ever, and it's the 10 of Wands. Fuck you, 10 of Wands. So the 10 of Wands, we're looking here, it looks like a guy is holding all these wands. He's not really, what is he doing? Let's see what Melissa wrote about this. The 10 of Wands shows a person carrying a huge bundle of sticks. This bundle can be stress, obligation, fear, hate, resentment, actual sticks, any number of things. Their back is sometimes bent, head down, and you can tell that in a few more steps, they'll drop everything or fall. Not only is this person carrying too much, they're carrying it improperly. There's no healthy version of this journey. And she talks a lot about this, but I'm going to summarize it. He's carrying so much that he's got to be in that numb, fuzzy state of mind where you nearly forget what you're carrying to where you're going. You just keep plodding along. In a reading, the important question are these. Who is he carrying this for? Why wouldn't he put it down? Why is he doing this? Why is he carrying them like that? And deliberately blinding himself instead of figuring out a less stupid way to handle them. Finding out why you've burdened yourself so heavily is a good place to start. There's a lot of things I want to say about this. Think about this, and this is a funny way to think about this. Think about this as like everybody does this, right? You go to the store, you buy a shitload of groceries, and you have all these stupid little bags. And instead of making multiple trips, you decide you're going to like crease your skin with the amount of heavy groceries that you're going to try and loop through all of your hands and get them all in one bundle, and your arms are weak and it's so heavy and you're just trying to make it to the door and you're like, I can do this. And you're working hard and not smart because you're trying to get it in one less step and do all at once when really you end up like, you know, you get it on the counter or you get it in through the door but you've smushed your groceries. Your arms are now like got like burns in it from trying to grab all the groceries at once just because your lazy ass didn't want to make multiple trips. Like that is such a like relatable type thing, I feel like, in the literal sense of this card. Think about it this way, because how many times do we actually try and carry wands up a hill like this? It's more so like, yeah, think about the metaphors within trying to do something, working hard and not smart. So I do that all the time. So yeah, now if you can relate to something like that, think about this, and this is where this comes in for me in my stalker card. So I want all of the things. I want to do all of the things, and I want to do them all at once. I have so many passions, so many projects, so many things. I say yes to too many things when I know that I have way too many things already on my plate. This is like, oh my God, yes, my fiance does that. I always call him Mr. One Trip Man. Yeah, but Victoria Lynn, you know, it might work and whatever for him. But at the end, you know, that's the part of this card. He's so stubborn and he's so determined to do it. He'll get there. This isn't about failure. This is about, yeah, you'll accomplish it. But this could be, yeah, burnout, okay? This is doing things in stages, making multiple trips, pacing yourself, lessening your burden. How come he can't ask for help? He's not the only one there. Delegating work out to other people because you're taking on too much for yourself. Saying no is a really huge thing for this. And this comes up a lot for people like myself who feel like they have to please other people, or feel like if they say no to an opportunity that they're closing off from what the universe is handing them. And sometimes that's not the case. Just because you're being held an opportunity like, hey, can you do this commission for me on top of all my other work? I don't have time to do my other work, but I don't want to turn down a commission. No, say no sometimes. This is about really learning how to prioritize how to take things in stride or kind of minimize your focus. If you're spreading your energy so thin throughout all of these different passions and projects and creative things or friendships or whatever you might have it, then you're not allowing these individual wands to fully be used because you're spreading yourself too thin. Here's what it looks like in the 10 of Wands. I feel very passionate about this stupid ass card because it's a lesson I am really, really working on, and that has always been surrounding me. This one doesn't really cut it for me so much because I feel like the struggle's not there. I feel like he kind of, he kind of has made it work for him. But it's cute. It's got like a little guinea pig on there. Sometimes these people can also be very draining because they don't relax. Hello? Have you not sensed my energy through your computer or phone or TV screen? I get that. I have to make sure that I'm grounded. I have to make sure that I am focused, and it's not about writing the biggest to-do list and having a really filled to-do list of like, look at all these things I need to accomplish. It's about narrowing and accomplishing those things that you're procrastinating on. It's not about like eating at this little here and a little there and a little here. It's like, what do you want to get done today? Pick one thing, pick 3 things, pick 5 things. And actually Melissa's reading, she basically told me that. She like made me break down to like, close your circle. 1 personal thing, 1 business thing, and 1 home thing. And don't move on to any other task until you finish those 3 things. Like it's about putting all your energy into 1 thing at once and not trying to do all of the things. Okay? We can move on. Let's do it. I agree. The image of him is funny is all. He is always wanting to take the load off me, and I realize that. That's why I'm always help him even if he doesn't ask. I struggle with this card too. I'm sorry if I came across insensitive, Sam. Oh no, you didn't come off insensitive at all, Victoria Lynn. I think that is, no, I totally get what you're saying. The Wonderland version is like, you've already found a solution to the problem. Seems too easy breezy. Yeah, but also I guess where I could see them coming into this is like, what is he doing, right? So this guinea pig he's, I don't know if these are pumpkins or apples or cupcakes. His goal here and what it looks like he's trying to do is he's trying to harvest his crops or bring his crops back to somewhere else, right? So why the hell does he have these wands on him? Like, it looks like he's trying to do 2 tasks at once. Like, his job for the day was to go and pick up all these sticks and bring them back so he could build a new home. But he also needed to go out and he needed to, you know, harvest all these crops to bring back for dinner, when in fact he's making this harder for himself because he's trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, but he's struggling more and probably wasting more time and energy trying to carry them and push the cart. So I can see where that's coming in here, but for me it kind of falls a little flat, or it's not as clear of an interpretation in this. So you may not get to the horizon that is visible and desirable. You cannot be everything to everyone. Exactly. That's a really great way to put it. Seems like something someone would do when they procrastinate. Or yeah, like if you've ever had like, I'm going to busy myself with all of these non-really important tasks. Like they might be tasks to get done. Are you someone that cleans your house when you know that's not really what you're supposed to be doing right now? Like you're like, oh, let me just put the dishes away, and oh, let me clean off my counter, and oh, let me clean my oven and stove while I'm at it. Even though those are things that like you might want to be getting done, you're making yourself productive when you know that you need to be doing other productive things. That's because this is action, this is passion, this is movement, this is doing, because we're talking about wands. So let's move on, because I could go on and on and on and on and on about this card. Let's finish up with the happiest, bubbliest fairy tale ending card there ever was, and we're talking about the 10 of Cups. So that's me at report writing time. Yeah, like, oh, let me, this has to get done. Let me go brush my dog's teeth because, yeah, his breath's been bad for forever, even though, yeah, you haven't brushed them in months. So why are you doing it now when you need to be up late doing your dissertation or whatever this is? So writing your dissertation. Okay, so let's move on. Where is the 10 of Cups? We're on the last of the Minor Arcana. Ah, yay, yay. We're 2.5 into this 2.5 hours into this live stream, so we got to wrap it up and do our reading and our homework for next week. 10 of Cups. This is a pretty easy card to understand, but there's a lot more to it, and I think she's already summarized that pretty well with the 9 3/4, and like, this is great, this is happiness, fairy tale ending, everything is happy and abundance and emotionally, but now what? She says, blessings, celebrations, and wishes coming true. Even though I'm not a huge fan of this card, it's not so bad. It's a great card to have for the short term. The kids are dancing, there's a rainbow. Honestly, it's idyllic. Idyllic. When it comes up in a reading, I'm quick to high five the client, but then we talk about what's coming around the corner. I mean, you can only stare at a rainbow for so long. That gets very boring. So yeah, to me, this comes across very, let me just make sure my phone just told me 15%, we're good to go. This comes along like, this is like the happy vacation where everything is great. You're on a cruise with your loved one or a honeymoon, like, let's enjoy the fruits of our labor. Let's have emotional love and our kids are around us. We're in Disney World. Everything's happy. I don't have to worry about my troubles. I don't have to, like, I'm just sitting on the beach sipping mimosas and watching the sunset, whatever this is, eating my cake. But you know that you're going to eventually have to go back to reality. You have to eventually go back to the job. There's things that you need to tie up. There's responsibilities that you need to get back to. And even though that we all deserve to feel this and have this amount, this excess of happiness and abundance, most of the time is very short-lived because there are so many different factors in our life and we're always evolving and we're always growing, and to continue on, we can't live in this dream fairy tale life. There's always things that continuously happen. Yeah, but this is basically like the end of a Disney movie where it's like the happily ever after, but you know that like Cinderella and her prince are gonna end up fighting about the dishes one day. Like, listen, no, you put away your own dishes. I am not your maid. Like, I love you, but like, okay, I'm getting too far into it. I'm getting wacky. But this card is really the fairy tale happy ending, feeling like you're just in the happiest bubble of your life. Or maybe, again, this is very like honeymoon to me. Like, it's happening, but you're gonna have to go home at some point. Like, you can't live here in this dream forever. But congratulations, high five, self high five, you're there, and it's really great and wonderful. Their raised arms form a cup also. It's all is happy and life is full. Children are happy, need to be a bit mindful though. Yeah, I like that. Their arms are up and abundant. They're open, they're giving, they're receiving. Heart chakra is like la. Children are dancing. It's pretty easy, you guys. But again, I really like her interpretation of like, high five, but now what? So you're going to go back and you're going to have to go back to work, or you're going to have to, you know, let's be honest and say like, what's going on from here? Same sort of thing. We see the cups on the wall, happy dancing. Looks like they're maybe walking down an aisle to get married, or to celebrate their, I love these pink little clouds in the back. Wouldn't it be cool if clouds were really pink? Okay, so we did it, you guys. We got it through the Minor Arcana. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes into this live stream. So does anybody have anything else to say about the 6s through the 10s? Let's talk about what we're reading for next week. I'm going to announce the homework, and I'm going to try to remember when this is up to put a timestamp for those of you who got bored or didn't want to listen, but they do want to do the homework. Hopefully this timestamp will help get you there. I will also write what the homework is down below. But our next reading is to finish the rest of Kitchen Table Tarot. And we're going over some of my favorite cards. I'm so excited to do this section with you. So we are going to be reading the last section, which is the Minor Arcana court cards. That's what she has it written as. So we're going to be reading from page 223 to 266. If you want to read the little conclusion, it's just like a one little page at the end, and it's cute. It's wrote by her, and it's just nice. But you don't have to if you don't want to. We're reading from 223 to 266, and we're going to be going over the court cards of the Minor Arcana. So excited. We're going to be relating different characters and movies and books, and I'm going to try and tie in some astrological things in there as well, but I'm really excited because I love the way Melissa, because I've read this book before, I'm really excited about the way that Melissa kind of explains these archetypes for you. I feel like people really struggle sometimes with the court cards, and they're some of my favorite cards to work with and to talk about. So I'm really excited to dive into it with you guys. So that is our reading for next week, next Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Before you go, and I'm going to announce the homework, I want to again announce that there is a Witchy Book Club Facebook group. It's just facebook.com/groups/Witchy Book Club. You will see on the banner or the icon, it is that painting up there, so you'll know you're in the right group. And we talk about the homework throughout the week. We ask questions. We dive deeper with the readings. We pick the books. It's just open for anyone to join. You just have to answer a question or two, so I know you're not a troll. Please head over there and join that group. It's really fun and really awesome. Also, don't forget to answer the question down below if you want to enter the giveaway, and make sure you're answering all the previous questions for a free phone reading from Melissa when this book is over. I don't have the book, but I'm still enjoying the sessions. That's okay, Kay. I love saying that. That's okay. A lot of people don't get the book and they still love to be in the conversations and just be a part of it. And that's awesome. And we're really switching gears with the next book, which is Uprooted by Naomi Novak. And it's a fiction. It's a witchy fiction. It's a fantasy. We're really switching gears here for our next book. Thanks so much, Sammy. I really enjoyed spending time with you. Thank you so much for talking, Angela. Let's talk about and announce the homework for next week. Yay, read the whole book. I'm really excited. Thanks, Lippy, for being so invested in the book. I think Melissa's writing is amazing. Our homework for next week, again, comes out of Andy Matzner's The Tarot Activity book. I've really been pulling this whole time from this book. There's really great activities in here. This book, as well as another one, was sent to me for a review months and months ago. I'm really enjoying it and trying to see exactly what, the pros and cons of this is. But for the most part, all of these activities are so cool. This was awesome, Sammy. Thank you. Thank you so much again. You guys, if you ever feel the want or need or love in your heart to kind of donate towards these live streams, there is a super chat option. Please do not feel obligated, but I want to always keep these resources free for you. It doesn't resonate with me right now to create a Patreon or anything like that. But I want this to be a community where we can learn and grow and share. And if that ever strikes your boat and you feel like you want to do that, there is my PayPal down below and a super chat option. But if not, I just love and am thankful for you guys being here, being a part of it. Let's end on our homework. Strength and weakness. Now, we're only going to be dealing with our homework from the 6s through the 10s of the Minor Arcana because that's the section that we went over. So when talking about this, keep that in mind. Take a deck, whatever deck you want, pull out the 6s through the 10s in the Minor Arcana, and our objective for this homework is to understand that your greatest strength can also cause distress if you're not careful. And this comes across with the positive attributes and the challenging attributes to every single card. So even with like the 10 of Swords, where it's just the worst card in Melissa's eyes, stay down, you're down, you've been defeated, take a breath and take a moment, because but then there's also the positive of, you can only go up from here. And it might be a bleak and very small positive, but there is a strength and weakness. There's a positive and challenging energy and aspect to every single part of the tarot. And that's what our objective is to recognize a strength that can also be a weakness within ourselves and how to balance that. So think about the personal quality or characteristic that you are most proud of, or the one that people consistently have complimented you on. What is it about you that truly makes you unique or has served you well in life? That's what we're taking a moment to think about through the 6s and the 10s. There is always a shadow side to a person's strength. For example, a creative person might find it easier to focus on his art and not bother learning about the business side of things. Or a compassionate person might find it hard to cut off a dysfunctional friendship. Or someone who loves helping others might spend all of her energy giving her time away and be left with none for herself. Your challenge is twofold. First, Make sure that you acknowledge and honor your strength, your greatest strength. Second, to recognize that if you're not careful, it can become a liability. So here is what the challenge is. If you choose to accept, your challenge is to go through the 6 through the 10s and search for a card that you feel represents your greatest strength. Use that card as inspiration, and please answer the following questions in your journal or in your head or in a post or a live stream in the Witchy Book Club, however you want to do it. So through the 6s to the 10s, go through and recognize and pick out what you think your greatest strength is. And here are the 5 questions that I'd like you to answer. The first is, what is your greatest strength and how do you know? The second question is, how has your greatest strength positively impacted your life? And the third question is there some aspect of your greatest strength that could be detrimental to your well-being? How so? And the fourth question is, can you remember a specific experience where this positive aspect of yourself actually ended up backfiring? And then the fifth and final question is, what are some things you could do to prevent your greatest strength from becoming a liability or balancing that energy? I will be sure to rewrite all of that in the information box below once this process, and I look forward to seeing what you guys do. I will obviously be sharing my homework next week and in Witchy Book Club Facebook group for this. Thank you so much for joining, for coming, for watching the playback, whatever you're doing. Wow, I could write a novel with those questions. Will be fun. Yep, this homework for this book has been quite intense. There has been a lot of very deep, but I'm only assigning like one thing because there's a lot to do within that. Pick whatever deck you'd like. It would be easier if you stuck with a Rider-Waite-Smith. There's no right or wrong. This is for you. This is for you to connect deeper with a certain card, with your traits and how you can relate to it. Thank you guys so much for joining. I hope that you enjoyed this, and we made it through the Minor Arcana in just shy of 3 hours. I love you all very, very much, and I hope that you have a beautiful, wonderful, magical day, and I'll see you guys next time.